Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut the knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink for the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. The letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. I got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. Wanna see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut the knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When I see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 Did it, I did it, I did it. I'm going in. Got me like, woo! Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, just tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us.
Guys, we are back with League of Legends. Legends of Central Asia. It is the ultimate day of Qualifier 3. And this is where it gets serious. These are the two teams. They both have essentially qualified for the Legends of South Asia, but it's still, a bit of, bragging rights and a lot that's on the line. It is a best of 5 series. It's me, Mendes, alongside Aniko today. And Aniko, did you catch yesterday's games, or do you have any idea about the teams for today? Because I think you did see the other team, Poro Patrol. You casted that match, and they did, a bit of a shaky kind of games going on. But in the end, they did come out on top, and that's all that matters, right?
Absolutely. And I am really curious to see what is Syndicate going to show us. What are they going to bring to the table? Both the teams, like I've casted the game for Poro Patrols and I've seen the comebacks they've made, and I'm curious to see if they're gonna do the same thing today or if we're gonna see something amazing from the team Syndicate. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. It is exciting. I honestly am going to favor Syndicate a bit, but before we get into that, let's look at the details of this tournament and what this actually leads up to, right? So you see that these are the qualifiers. It is for that big Legends Ascent tournament with a 10 lakh INR prize pool, as well as that very crucial spot in the LCP wildcard playoffs. This is what a lot of teams are fighting for. Essentially, the money is good. They have been getting money for some time, but it's that spot that matters so much to these two teams that's coming up, and the further on when they go to the actual tournament. You've seen that we have three qualifiers, three teams qualified from each one of them. Two have already been decided. The third, fourth place match will be happening later on today. After that will be the league stage of the Legends Ascent from June 13th to July 20th. And the playoffs will be from July 25th to August 3rd. So we have a lot of action-packed, games going to be coming up. It's going to be, your weekends are going to be filled with League of Legends, especially the South Asian kind. And talking about that final tournament, which is the Legends Ascent, the tournament format is going to be 3x3 from the qualifiers teams. That's 9. Going to be in the round robin league stage. Top 4 of those after the round robin ends will be moving on to a double elimination playoff bracket. And another reminder, yet again, to the people watching at home, we have fully adapted the full Fearless draft from this year from pretty much every region across for League of Legends, and we are no exception. So this is the most exciting thing I think Riot Games has brought out into where League was getting a bit stale. This just completely turned the tides into something else over here, Nico. Nico, any thoughts about these two teams as well as the Fearless draft?
I'm like, today is going to be best of 5, so it is going to be crazy if we actually go to the 5th game, because as you mentioned, this is the Fearless draft and they will have to play 5 different champions for all 5 games if the game goes to game 5 or game 4, whatever it is. But like, yeah, it is very I'm really curious what champions they're going to take, what combinations they're going to take, and how they're going to synchronize throughout the whole game. Because last time when we saw the games in the semifinals, we saw some amazing gameplays from the mid laners, from the junglers, especially how they were securing the objectives throughout the whole games. It was really exciting to see how it's going to turn out. So I am hoping we'll be seeing more of that today in today's game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something they have to look out for. You're digging deep into a lot of these champion pools between these two teams. They're going to be bringing out champions that they probably haven't brought out through the entire tournament because they required at this point. Honestly, I do think we might not get to see all 5 games, just because I know about Syndicate's prowess and the kind of leadership they're under. Harry Joshi's team, always respect for that man. But yeah, these are the two teams in front of you. We already talked about how cute the logo of Poro Patrol is, but Syndicate on the hand looks pretty deadly. And I know Harry Joshi made this himself, so props to the man for making it himself, and he did in a very quick time as well. So the logos look good, the teams do look good. Poro Patrol unfortunately did go 2-1 in their series, but Syndicate managed to win do 2-0. So Syndicate had that slight momentum advantage for themselves overall, which is a beneficial fact. And they have, but Poro Patrols had a day off essentially. Yesterday they didn't have to play. Well, Syndicate's still off that, and they have to go maybe all 5 games today. So it's a bit of a back burner for them. So hopefully they power through. Poro Patrol had good drafting yesterday and day before yesterday, but sometimes it was just lacking on how they want to play. The Jinx pickup did not work for them when they tried to play it. So I hope to see maybe some other game plans coming out, and hopefully the way they draft is the way they end up playing in the game, according to if it's a mid-late game kind of comp or an early game aggression. Hopefully we get to see that between these two teams. But without any further ado, guys, we're going to head into the draft of the finals of quarterfinal 3, and just look at these smiling faces on your screen. We do have another Venom here from that day, and they got instantly banned out the Renekton. This was banned out against Zuko Crown, aka Crown, yesterday a lot of times. They really don't want to play against Zuko's Renekton, and that's a fear factor that's going to narrow down the amount of bans they can give out.
We see a Malzahar ban. I think the last time they were watching their games for sure, and they went for Malzahar because he is a very hard champion to pin down when they're like in team fights, because you need to prioritize who you're focusing. And we see a Jarvan Van from Poro Patrol. So it is interesting to see if they're going to go for the early ganks or if they're going to do like very aggressive gameplays, or are both the teams going to play it safe early on. So yeah, we do not know yet. And then they are banning Nautilus as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that J4 yesterday, Deadize did a fantastic job. He managed to get an MVP on that champion. So it's not without, any fault that they're banning this champion out against him. The Nautilus, we didn't get to see that much yesterday, but I'm assuming Deadize is probably going for the Xinjiao route, because he also had a phenomenal performance in game 1 on the champion, only being outshone by Harambe on his champion, on that Kaiser, where he went pretty good. The Corki ban is very interesting coming from Syndicate. The Poro Patrol's Lucian is, an obvious ban that's at this stage. You've narrowed down some of the ADCs. But the Corki ban, we don't get to see that much of Corki until maybe the 4th or 5th game in most series, if you're watching at least internationally. So Corki ban very early on does provoke a lot of things, but Poro Patrol instantly lock in the Kaiser, exactly how Syndicate did yesterday in their series with their first pick. So Harambe, a bit on the back foot, maybe brings out his deadly twitch that he did phenomenally on yesterday as well. But instantly Syndicate are gonna answer with the Nocturne. Maybe get to see a Nocturne Orianna combo coming out from them.
I think they also, like, Syndicate also kept track of what Poro Patrol did play during their semifinals, and we saw Poro Patrol locking down on their Nautilus. They played Nautilus, Severe, and Nocturne, and it was a crazy game. And I feel like they're denying them that, like, no, we do not want Poro Patrol to play that Nocturne because it was deadly, and they are locking that in so that they do not have to worry about that. And we also see Syndicate locking down on Braum. So it is a very good support at the moment in this current meta, and very tanky as well. So, and Poro Patrol, on the other hand, they are locking down on Alistar. So we will be seeing 2 tanky supports supporting their team, and it is going to be interesting. And let us see what else they have in surprise for us. They have in store for us.
Yeah, they have pretty good pickups already. The draft's looking pretty good from both sides. The Braum, I think it's a bit to deny the Kaiser as well, because the Braum-Kaiser combo is pretty deadly. Not to mention, even with the Alistar, you get the knock-up, you get the stacks up from the passage of the Kaiser, you do a lot of damage. This is what I like from Poro Patrol. They are so good with their drafting that they've taken the Orianna away from Syndicate, so they can't do the Orianna Nocturne combo. They have to think of something else. But Syndicate, this time we maybe get to see Harambe on the Jinx. They're currently hovering over, but no, they are switching the hover over to the Ashe. The Ashe Bronco, the Freljord champions do so much CC, so much over there. You're definitely going to see the Kaiser with the cleanse in her kit. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit detrimental going. But solid lock-in for Syndicate. The only problem with the Ashe is more of a supportive ADC type, while as, the Kaiser goes hyper carry mode, and if they get pretty good engages on the next picks, it can mean a lot to them. But with that being said, we're heading off to the second phase of banning.
But as you're saying, Ashe may be a support ADC, but then again, her ult plays a very crucial role in the team fights as well. And we see a Shyvana ban coming from Syndicate, so they are trying to maybe ban out all the junglers and the top laners, because that is one of their main focus. We saw some amazing gameplays from Poro Patrol with their Mordekaiser, so are we going to see that today? We see Gallier being banned from Poro Patrol, so it is going to be interesting. And as you mentioned, that they took away Orianna, denying Syndicate from that Orianna. I'm thinking about the combination of Orianna and Alistar engaging in with that Orianna ball, and then Orianna ulting. It's gonna be crazy, and I am already looking forward to the team fights that's going to happen. And they also banned the Rames because they knew how obnoxious it was, how obnoxiously they played it last time during their semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about more bans, the Hue, the final ban from Poro Patrol, that's where Buzz Lightyear, aka Kagura, did a fantastic job in the mid lane. He was pretty dominant against his counterpart being on the other day, but let's see. he doesn't get that. He has options against the Orianna quite a bit. Orianna's pretty safe champ to play. The R is also open up for how you want it, but the Sylas gets picked up. Sylas, if he steals the Alistar ult, pretty unkillable in most team fights, and maybe that's what they're looking for. And this also prevents Poro Patrol from getting ultimate heavy comps for their 4th and 5th picks. So a bit of brain games coming out from them. So this leaves them open for Syndicate to counter pick whatever top's coming out, which is well placed by them. Poro Patrol looking to lock in their jungler and their top. And oh, it is the Ivern. Any thoughts on that, Aniko?
I mean, it is an interesting jungler, not the one like on Nocturne versus Ivern. I'm curious to see if Poro Patrol is going to be counter jungling, invading their jungle, and we see Yorick banned from Poro Patrol. Is it going to be like, are they going to be pushing the lanes? We do not know yet, because Yorick is going to be focusing on pushing his lanes, not really focusing on the team fights, because he will be solo pushing the lanes and easily taking the turrets, hopefully. So it's up to now Syndicate how they're going to counter this. And as you were saying about Sylas, I feel like that is like a pick to be like, oh, you took Orianna, but it's okay. We have a Sylas on our team, and we're gonna take Orianna out and use it somehow.
Yeah, that's a very good point coming out over there. But finally, we get the lock in. Zuko's going to counter the Yorick with the set pickup for himself. Zuko, aka Crowd, does a fantastic job. Is a very solid top laner. So I really like pretty much 80% favoring, at least comp-wise, draft-wise, on the side of Syndicate, given their pickups coming out. Just looks phenomenal. The amount of lock-ins they have, the amount of CC, that potential, you can just pick out targets. The enchanted arrow from the Ashe will be, detrimental if anyone gets caught out. On the other hand, Poro Patrol, if they get CC on the Kaiser, can follow up. As you said, Orianna puts the ball on the Alistar, he goes in. The Yorick can be causing him in the split lanes on split pushing. So it is looking like Poro Patrol are more of a less team fight comp, more of a split pushing comp and playing the macro more, while Syndicate just want to lock down targets when they want to go in, and they want to power farm that Nocturne to his, level 6 so he can start getting those crucial ganks in. Okay, what do you think about Ivern in the current meta as a jungler compared to the other options that are open to other players?
I feel like Ivern with his Daisy is actually pretty annoying, because are you going to, during team fights, are you going to target Daisy, or are you actually going to target one of the champions? It is very hectic to figure out, and it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, and if you can somehow tilt the opponent jungler and somehow secure the objectives, it is going to be pretty good for Poro Patrols. But as you mentioned, that their team is more of like playing it safe, whereas Syndicate is more of like locking in on the opponent and looking for how they can isolate the champion and put that early pressure on. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be also a lot of eyes on the bot lane early on, especially when you have an Ashe Braum combo. Your Kai'Sa has to play pretty safe. The Alistar does allow some reprise for them in terms of spacing, but you have to be careful about it. But yeah, like I was saying, Poro Patrol have to be more of a kind of scattered across the map kind of comp, as in playing at the macro to basically a bit of perfection, while Syndicate can instantly just hit their Rs and just lock in targets, isolate the fights even before objectives are taken. And we do see that Syndicate loves to pressurize objectives very early on, take everything away, and they leave very less opportunities for, if they get ahead in the game, for the opponent team to come back at them. Whereas we did see Poro Patrol, wavering slightly even when they did have the lead, making maybe very slight silly errors, but those errors sometimes do add up to bigger things. And I really want to see Poro Patrol, come back against that. We have seen Harambe on yesterday on the Twitch and the Kai'Sa. Today we see him on the Ashe. I really want to see how he does when he's not more of the damage part of his comp, where he's more of, the locking them in place, giving the slows added on with the Qs added on. And more importantly, Ashe right now in the current meta, her Qs now stack on structures as well. So that also adds if they want to push lanes over there. And Syndicate had a fantastic job yesterday when they went towards the Grubs fights. Their bot lane completely went over, and they didn't leave any chance for the opponent ADC for coming back into the game because he was left farming bot side. The Twitch ended up picking a double kill for himself, and it was a bit of a mayhem after that, especially with the Jarvan 4 just locking in the rest of the fights and getting that MVP for himself. But Harambe was also a huge factor in it. He gets good back timers. He picks up the BF sword most of the time on his back timers, and that's very crucial as an ADC that you wait it out till you get to that part and you can force against the Kai'Sa. Maybe should be looking try and get an early back against the Twitch, against the Ashe to force it up, because I'm pretty sure the Ashe is going the Yuntal's build, while as the Kai'Sa, I don't think the crit build is doing that much favors anymore. Probably still going back on the Kraken Slayer build, so she can get her items more earlier than the Ashe, and if she does faster recall timers or plays it according to how that goes on, it will be very important on how the bot lane matchup faces out.
I completely agree with you, and I also feel like for Nocturne from Syndicate, I feel like he's going to try to rush his ult as soon as possible, so as Ivern, so that they can initiate the team fights, they can secure the objectives more. Speaking of securing objectives and team fights, Atakan, we are hoping what, top or bot? Because last time when I was casting, all 3 games, the Atakan spawned in the top lane. So are we going to see that top lane where they're going to be poking one another, the fight's going to be happening in top lane and the Atakan spawning there, or is it going to be bot where more of the team fights and ganks are going to happen? I'm looking forward to those stuff as well. So it is interesting to see how it's going to proceed, how it's going to roll out for both the teams, because Poro Patrol has the potential to make that comeback. And as you're saying, Syndicate has a more better calm and composed team fight, and the synchronization between their team is more better. So it is interesting to see how they're going to clash and what's going to work out for both the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, it's a very big talking point about how the top players are going to be fighting out against each other, because Zuko will be trying to be putting on the pressure. Yorick will just be trying to, power farm for himself to get his level 6 early on, so he can, maybe go around, try and go over away. Bot side, I think, is going to be very aggressive this time, because Harambe does love putting on that bot side aggression. He knows his level 2 timers very, very well, almost to the side of perfection, as well as Kagura in the mid lane. Because last time we saw him against his opponents, he hit level 6, went in for the all-ins, pretty much secured the kill in the second game. First game, he even got the first blood. But without any further ado, guys, this is the finals of Qualifier 3. Mind you, both teams have already qualified for Legends Ascent, but this is bragging rights. This is the edge going into that certain tournament as well. And you can see the entire side of Syndicate are walking in to Poro Patrol jungle. This is Poro Patrol versus Syndicate. It is a best of 5. It is full fearless. And you can see, as soon as so many members are spotted over here, the Iron goes and puts down that cheeky ward over there in Syndicate jungle.
So unfortunately, we are not going to be maybe not seeing an invade, but we don't know. Do you think Ivern is going to try steal the red from the red side jungle?
I don't think so. I think he's going to play it more on the safer route, because at this level of play, I think these teams are aware, especially when they see an Ivern on the map, that this is a certain play you can go for. You can see where the Silas and the Set are right now, just to prevent exactly that kind of scenario. But I like the fact that the Ashe and Braum are going to cheese it a bit in the bush and the bot side. They're playing a bit on the safer side so far there. But look where the Alistar and the Kaiser are standing. They are the ones on the back foot in terms of where they're going to stand around on the map over here. But I'm very interested to see how this Silas does against the Orianna over here, given just how aggressive Kagura just likes to play his laning phase.
And once again, we see top laners poking one another. It is just not even 2 minutes in, and they already started. And we also see bot lane poking down, Ashe poking down, and Invoker taking that damage. So it is going to be interesting. As you said, it's going to be aggressive from both the teams. They're going to play aggressive. I feel like they're not going to play it safe this whole game.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Aptor did in yesterday's game, where he put so much pressure early on the bot side. Exactly. Harambe is always going to hit that level 2 first, especially with the kind of comp that he has, and they're going to take that to complete advantage. Invoker already, poked down to around 70% of his HP bar. Has to be careful of Abdo's Qs that come out of it, and they're complete over, excitement over that side. But you can see that Ivern obviously going to have the faster pacing compared to the Nocturne when he's going for his camps, and that's what he's completely using focus on. And he is going to be trying maybe path towards bot, but instead he's going topside over here. The Nocturne's going to follow up. They are going topside. If Crown is not anticipating Ivern coming up, this could spell out trouble for the set. Nice lock in from the Yorick over there, but he can't do much damage. He can barely walk up to him, especially once the set still had the W in his arsenal. He realizes that the bar is going to go down. He uses the W out, gets some poke, but they're pretty much even in terms of HP. Crown pops his health bar, so does Venom. And now a nice E onto Venom. Venom has to be careful how he's going to play this scenario. In the meantime, in the mid lane, Kagura just putting on the pressure, but going uneven in the trades against Eric's.
It is honestly like crazy to see how both the teams, top laners, bot laners, mid laners, everybody's playing it so aggressive, everybody's taking on that fight, and we see that Nocturne's already top, hoping that he can actually help his teammate out, and so is Silas trying to move, but just probably warding the riverside and coming back. Look at the farm. Look at the farm difference between Orianna and Silas.
It's a huge margin between them right now, especially with Silas even getting better shit. But look who's here. Here's the Ivern with the level 4 gang in the bot side. Flash pop by Harambe. He's trying to get out, but he's stunned up in place. The exhaust comes in. Harambe doesn't have anything. He has come with the ghost, but no barrier means he's pretty much dead at that spot. And instantly, Poro Patrol pick up their first blood with the crucial first gank in the bot side. And the Ivern coming out on top of the Nocturne, who's looking to power farm. He's maybe looking to catch out Venom in the top side, but Venom very smartly moving away. There is a ward also placed down over there, so Nocturne was on vision. Ivern was not, and that's the key factor coming here between both the teams, and POP taking that early blood advantage for themselves.
The flash, and then Kaiser just securing that kill for Poro Patrols. I find it interesting how both the teams tried to gank at the same time, but one was successful and the other wasn't. And now here we see a fight going on in mid lane and forcing Orianna to go back, securing more of that farm for Silas. Whereas in bot lane, both the farms, both the ADCs are pretty much equal. As for top, Set is like securing, he's like 10 CS, more than 10 CS ahead, playing it very aggressive.
You're playing very aggressive. The W lands from the set onto the Yorick for this amount of damage, and this is honestly a 6-7 million wave coming into set, so he's going to be further up in CSV. He does it properly underneath his turret. Look who's close by. The Ivern pretty much has an inkling that Kagura really wants to go in onto this arena. He's measuring that level 6 time. This is exactly what he did. He hits the level 6. If he gets Orianna's ult stolen away from Orianna and goes in, this could be deadly. But Orianna also hits level 6 over here. Has to be careful of the fact Ivern has moved away. Drake has been started up by the side of Syndicate. Kagura's playing with a bit of fire over there, essentially, with his HP bar, but he's still walking in. Crown going in onto Venom. Venom being forced to burn his flash in the first jungle objective, the Ocean Drake, going over to the side of Syndicate.
It is so nice how I feel like they're also going to be like, compared to the semifinals game, they are going to play this more safely, but aggressively at the same time, securing the objectives as soon as they can. And it was a very smart play by Nocturne, securing the drag early on, and he's also like ahead in his CS as well, because it is hard for Ivern to secure the objectives early on in the game compared to Nocturne, and he's going to try to do that as soon as possible. Nocturne is already level 5, whereas Ivern is level 4. It is crucial for Ivern to level up as soon as possible so that he can contribute more in the team fights and secure the objectives further.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also helps the Nocturne that the bot side has complete prio for that objective, and he gets it at a very fast rate that allows, the side of his, lets him get good timer up for grubs later on as well if his bot lane wants to make a switch. But yes, very well played. Nocturne punishing Ivan for that early gank, getting ahead in camps, getting that Drake for himself, taking complete utilization of where the Ivan lacks as a champion, at least early game stage. And this is where the game knowledge of Deadeyes comes into play, and he's doing a fantastic job. Both his mid lane and top lane pretty much in the lead, at least in terms of CS. Kagura was looking to maybe go in for a little solo below himself in the mid lane, but Derek's playing it on the safer side, didn't get caught out, doing a fantastic job between them. So pretty well played to both teams. POP have the advantage kill wise, but objective wise it's to the side of Syndicate. So still looks like a pretty even matchup between these games, between these two teams, and I expect the first grub fight is where one of the teams will get like a slight significant lead for themselves.
I completely agree, and like this is it. Like this is the finals. They have the pressure on them. They are feeling the pressure, and it's the first game. I feel like even if there is the pressure, there is a chance to come back. Whoever is going to lose this map because it's a best of 5. However, as you mentioned, void grabs. If the void grabs spawn, are we going to be seeing the bot lanes rotating towards mid and doing that fight in the riverside? That's what we're looking forward to, how they're going to secure it. Hopefully, Ivern can level up his ult as soon as possible and contributing more in the team fights and see how it's going on. I feel like last dragon fight, the ocean drag that they were securing, there wasn't much of a fight from Poro Patrol. So maybe they are going to contest the objectives more throughout the game. And for top lane, in semifinals we saw how Venom was always like pushing out, making the opponent team feeling more under pressure, staying under the tower. But over here, I'm trying to see, like I'm seeing that it's pretty much similar. They're both trying to push one another out. They're both playing very aggressive, both trying to tackle down. And we saw Nocturne doing that early gang, but not really succeeding because of the war's good vision. So, yeah.
It's good vision and also good, mentality from the side of the Yorick, where he has the anticipation that the jungler can be topside. He was already playing a bit behind. As soon as he sees the knock, completely backs off. So well played from Venom in that aspect, at least. Talk about the objective. It was that Ivern who was just lurking a bit too much towards the mid lane, trying to see that if Kagura goes in on the arena, that bought so much time for the Nocturne side, for the side of Syndicate to, get the dragon uncontested at a very good timer at like maybe 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That allowed them that they have such a good timer for the grubs as well right now, 7-10. You can see right now, as you were talking about, right, the bot, they have already left bot lane. They're already moving up here. It's 7 minutes, 11 seconds, and they're already moving towards the grub side. I would have liked to see maybe a swap in lanes. I mean, maybe anticipate Zuko's going to catch this wave and then maybe TP bot side and, change lane phase. But this is where always the teams against Syndicate are a bit on the lacking side of when they should be moving grub timers. But here comes the Nocturne with his R. He jumps right in. Ivern is close by, but Daisy's not available. He's still only level 5. Venom instantly going down. Now Ivern has to run away. The W comes after the set. Does a lot of chunk damage to the Ivern, but Ivern was pretty much a spectator in the death of his own top laner over there.
I agree with you, and as I was saying, like he needs to level up, or else he won't be able to help his teammates out. And we already see that since the Void Grabs is going to spawn, we see the immediate lane switch from Syndicate, which is really good. To Ashe and Braum top, and already we're seeing the team fights happening inside the blue side jungle.
Yeah, and that's a Nocturne burning his flash for not securing the kill on the Ivern. But Ivern is so low, I don't think they can actually contest the grubs, because Zuko didn't even use his TP, just walks into lane, so he has TP available. I think that's the call coming out from Poro. They're gonna have to end up giving it, just given how the HP bar of Ivern was and how that top gank went down. So very well played from Deadeyes. He did power farm faster than the Ivern, and they pick up one grubs. They're gonna evacuate a bit over here. They're respecting that Poro Patrol can cause a bit of a nuisance, but Zuko getting a lot of plates for himself on the bot side. Poro Patrol gonna probably pick up the rest 2 of these grubs for themselves and go Already the 700 gold difference for the side of Syndicate. They're doing fine. Lanes have been swapped between themselves, and Kai'Sa and the Braum have been left alone to pick up the grubs. So Kai'Sa's missing out on a lot of them. Even though she's up currently, she's missing out on XP margins, right? She had hit level 6 before Ashe. I don't know what's exactly happened here because Braum's hit level 6 before his own ADC.
But look at the bot lane. I think Set got a good amount of turret plate, giving them a huge it is going to be a good goal lead for Team Syndicate, and we're already seeing that Nocturne just steals Ivern's red, but already Ivern's nah.
Nocturne's
I'm not
in a
letting you
very
go.
bad position. Yes, he's definitely not letting his target go. He's taking a bit revenge for the topside gang. That's Nocturne going down. He was just caught a bit out of place over there. I don't know what you're doing over there, Deadeyes, but unfortunately, you are dead. And he's picked up the Tiamat. He's going for the Stridebreaker early on. We've seen a couple of Nocturnes maybe go for the Unitiles instead, but no, he's going to stick to the true and tested build of that Stridebreaker. And unfortunately, that's his first death of the game. Venom is in a tough spot. He's being completely zoned off from his wave. Abdo doing a fantastic job in the support side as the Braum. He did the same he was playing yesterday in the semifinals, and he's continued to showing that prowess. Even after Kai'Sa missed so much picking up the grub, she's still ahead in CS on the Ashe. She's still ahead in terms of XP. She's probably going to hit that level 6 before Ashe can do, because Ashe backs away. She hits that level 6 as well. So Invoker up in terms of power margins, but Ashe, very crucially, has picked up the BO5. But hold on that thought. In the bot side, Kagura is going all in onto Terex. He's stolen the ult as well. If Terex walks a bit too far, Kagura is most likely going to pop the stolen Orion ult onto him. That's exactly what he did, and Terex looks to be going down. Here's Nocturne coming in to secure the kill, but no! Alistar comes in with the Deadeyes, not respecting that the Alistar's close by. Maybe he was just in that fog of war and they didn't see that he was there. But that's going to be POP. More importantly, Alistar picking up the kill, and much more importantly, the feats of warfare going over to the side of Poro Patrol.
It was a bit too greedy from Deadeye doing the tower dive. It was risky, and Alistar was just there at the right time, I feel like.
Absolutely was in the right time at the right place. He saw his Oriana fighting with Kagura getting a bit greedy there, couldn't finish off the kill. Deadeye thought that he can, get the job done, but Alistar, nice flash knockout forward, prevents Oriana from going down, so it prevents him from being 1-4 in trade. Deadeye ends up going down for the second time in this game. But let's take a bit of spacing and talk about how the game is going on. Crown putting a lot of pressure here against Venom. He's a level up as well after the late swaps that occurred. Is back in his own top side, but Venom has popped his ultimate. Crown has to get out of it. Maybe has to burn the flash. That's exactly what it is. Yorick comes for the Q damage, just not enough. The flash Q
Not enough.
barely missing out on taking away the entire HP bar of Crown, and that's Venom taking a bit of a stand here for himself and saying, no, Crown, you don't get to bully me that much.
Yep. Poro Patrol making sure that they're not really that behind. Like, look at their goal lead. It's not really that far off. And everybody from Poro Patrol and Syndicate, they are trying to move around the dragon because the dragon's up, and they are going to try contest for it because everybody has pretty much all of their abilities. And we already see Seth trying to go near the bush, but already going back, knowing that, it might not be good for him.
Yeah, definitely. He has to think more carefully about it. Abdo and Harambe are taking away platings over here. Drake, pings are coming down from the red team for the Drake, but they're not moving by. They're going to be choosing to give this Drake up, essentially. They had the advantage. Crown doesn't have TP to be in for the fight, so it would have been crucial for them. You can see Terex was just roaming close by, just enough in case anyone was jumping on me. Invoker just trying to get to his turret, but the slow's coming out. But now you're maybe in a tough spot. Jazz is a bot, goes in, but no. Here comes the Nocturnal. He's going onto the Ivern on the side of your screen over here, but I don't think you have the damage to secure him. But the flash coming in from Abdo, a complete whiff on the ultimate from the Braum, ends that much of the skirmish. So the Braum ult goes out, Abdo's flash is lost, the Deadeyes also loses his ultimate, and for basically not at that point, you do get the flash out of the Ivern, but now you don't have a Nocturne out for a bit of time. It does tempt a bit on how you want to go for your ganks later on. Zuko still putting on the pressure over here. Now it's a swap. It's going to be Kagura versus Venom in the top side, Zuko versus Terex in the bot. And now after, failed ganks like that, they have to slow down a bit. Not ganks, more of a failed pressure. The Enchanted Arrow was coming in from downtown, barely misses onto Terex, and he's going to, be happy that it did not land on him.
Absolutely. And I feel like Oriana's like playing it safe, even though she knows that she can help it out, because she knows her teammates are not there to help her out. They're all moving towards the top side, and oh my god, what is going on?
Yeah, this is just breaking out in complete chaos. Kagura, you don't want to be there. That was basically a 1 versus 2, and Venom stands his ground. He has his maiden, he has his wife close by, and there's no way that he's going down over. That's unfortunately Kagura. Syndicate. I thought Poro Patrol would be making the smaller slightly mistakes, but it's going to be Syndicate that are showing this part of them that we did not see at all in semifinals, and this is maybe where the nerves of the finals get to some of these teams. It's going to be first turret as well going to the side of Poro Patrol. They secured that, as well as the complete feats of strength, given that they had the feats of warfare in their pocket. So a couple of misclays coming in from Syndicate, completely being punished by the side of Poro Patrol.
Absolutely. They are not letting them go for their mistakes, and I feel like Syndicate is being a bit impatient. If they play this patiently, they can easily win the fight and maybe secure. I feel like these mistakes are going to be very hard for them to recover from, because look at that. From the last fight in top lane, Poro Patrol is now in the gold lead, 23k, whereas Syndicate is in 22.3k right now.
Yeah, and it is a goal. Even the people watching the polls that we gave it in the YouTube, people have been saying Syndicate 65% against the 35% of Poro Patrol. So we had the expectation that, the underdogs for Poro Patrol, but the way they are playing, they're not at all seeming like it, because they are punishing the mistakes completely. They did pick up a free Chemtech Drake with a good positioning for themselves. They are unfortunately going to maybe give up the Rift Herald, because Ivan is pretty far away. Light is waiting close by. He has a stolen maid in his pocket, but the chains narrowly miss out on Kagura. He does get a bit of chunk damage onto him, but otherwise just walking away. You can see Aptos here to prevent the side of POP from walking up too further. You can see Kagura is just waiting on that blasting from the bot side. Venom doesn't have TP, can't come in for the fight. That's going to be a Herald taken away from the side of Syndicate without much pressure being applied for Poro Patrol, and they're happy campers about all of that.
Like, look at how the Realm and the Ash zoned out Alistair and Kaisa. It was beautiful, denying them the Rift Herald and securing it all for themselves. Same as Silas denying Oriana to take space near the river side.
Yeah, absolutely. You see both bot laners from both teams are now mid-side. That's exactly the kind of positioning you want for them. A nice amount of damage coming out into Invoker. Nice kiting and nice, gliding coming in from Harambe Venture. Completely procs, completely leaves the tempo. This is what I was talking about. All the time, the Kaiser has to play a bit on the back foot, but she has got the kill for herself. She is up in CS, and it's gonna be the Ivern getting caught out of the Enchanted Arrow lands. Nocturne follows up with his own R. That's a very slain big tree over there, and this is maybe a bit of redemption for the side of Nocturne for a bit of those earlier misplays coming in from him.
It is definitely, they're like, we should be playing this safely and not making any more mistakes, because the dragon is coming soon, and they have tried to take control of the dragon side, and Ivern just at the wrong place, wrong time, costing his team maybe the dragon. We do not know yet, because it's not up yet.
Exactly, it is not up yet. Makes a huge difference to these teams about like how you want to position yourself based on what objectives are up at current times. You can see Drake finally does come up. It's going to be an Hextech Soul. Finally, after all our talks the last time we were casting together, we finally get to see a Hextech Soul. We get to see those beautiful Hextech gates from Arcade essentially over here. And you can see that they are going to position themselves pretty well. The Drakes open up. There is no vision from the side of Syndicate at all on the Drakes, and they have to keep this in mind that anytime it can go away, especially that Nocturne has been set on the top side. He is going to be popping that Rift Herald that they had taken away earlier, and maybe trying to get some damage on the tier 1 on the top side. Rom also way onto Daisy as well as the Ivern, trying to keep some spacing. Harambe really wants to keep this kiting going on. The Brom stacks can land up. Invoker stunned into place. The Flash gets burned by the Ashe, but she ends up still going down in that fight. The Ghost was also burned between her. But on the top side, you can see Orianna falls to the hands of the Silas over there. Here comes Big Zuko with the RKO from the top ropes, but Venom fortunately has the flash, gets out in time. But they're going to also end up losing a tier to the top side, but they're going to answer back by trying to pick up the Hextech Drake from themselves. And I'm pretty sure they get it without any kind of consequences right now.
They are securing the dragon, but I feel like they traded the two towers in top lane, and bot lane is also pushed up. I feel like Syndicate is putting more pressure in the lanes compared to securing objectives, and we also see that they have recovered from the gold loss they've been in. They are in the gold lead right now, and they are trying to hopefully push towards mid lane, securing that mid tower and bot tower as well, the tier 1 towers. And whereas Team Poro Patrol, they just secured the top lane tier 1 towers.
Yeah, and you can see the the replay, instant replay doesn't highlight it as well as you would have hoped, but you can pretty much get the inkling of what happened. The Ashe was forced to burn both summoners, bot side in the mid lane, ends up still falling down. Brom had channeled his ultimate very early on in the fight to maybe deter any of these kind of movements, but unfortunately falls down. Orianna dies trying to protect the tier 1 on the top side, and that's how we run it here. Kills, talk about kills, it's 5-3. Syndicate have a goal lead of around 1.2k for themselves, so they're pretty happy about that. The Ashe completed the Yuntals, has another BF sword looking to pick up the Infinity Edge. You can see the Kaisers going the Kraken Slayer into the Ginshu's build, already has 2 of the sub items for Ginshu as well as the pickaxe and the recurve bow. Ivern has Redemption, playing more of the healing, kind of locking people in place, throwing Daisy out to do all the damage for him. Derex has to be careful of how he wants to move. Here comes the Nocturne coming onto him. He does not have the ultimate. The ultimate is being stolen away from Buzz Lightyear, and they do secure the kill underneath the turret, as well as the Jet Arrow after the tier 1 in the middle lane. A quick flash from Jazz's bot does save his life from that Brom ultimate that was coming his way, and they have to be very careful how they want to play this out, because look at the amount of turrets that Syndicate has taken, right? It's 3 turrets to 1 in Syndicate's favor, and they're working all sides of the map, keeping Poro Patrol completely on their toes. They even picked up another kill, almost equalizing in terms of kill potential between teams. Atakan, we wanted to see it spawn bot side, but unfortunately, Anigo, we're seeing it spawn top side again.
It's back top. Yeah, it's back on top. Syndicate is now, they're like, yes, we are not making the same mistakes again. They have 3 bounties on their top laner, jungler, and mid laner. They are like, we did die the first 2 times, but this time I don't care about the tower dive because we are getting that kill. We are securing that kill. Orianna dies through that tower dive. Unfortunately, the Ivern did. There was a redemption, I think. I don't know. I saw a redemption, I think, but it was unfortunately not enough for Orianna to survive.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for him at all. It was a bit of a tough point coming in. But yeah, it was just not what you want at that point at that time. Atakan was looking like getting pressured by the side of Syndicate, but Syndicate could not move up too much onto it. And that's a bit of a lull state. It's about which people are going to move towards Atakan first and who's going to prioritize it between these guys, because it's a bit of a uphill battle for the side of Poro Patrol right now, given how Syndicate has a bit of pressure across pretty much every single lane.
They are pressured, but I also want to mention that 5-4, both the teams are playing, so it's even, it's equaled. It's such an even matchup, and you can see how they are trying to put pressure near Atakan, trying to set up, trying to take control of it. And Syndicate is also moving towards top lane. We see Nocturne coming as soon as possible in case if Poro Patrol starts, if they do one misstep, they want to punish them for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to try and punish them as much as they can. Ash finished the Infinity Edge, Kaiser finished Shuriken's Rage Blade, so they're pretty much on track for it, itemization wise. But you know, because crucially POP have got the feats of strength, they have the upgraded tier 2s for themselves. Crown completely being distanced by Venom, but here comes the Nocturne, here comes the Generator completely on the mark, locks in the Yorick in place. Yorick has nowhere to run, he doesn't have the mobility to get anywhere. That's going to be a very slain Yorick, as well as an Ivern to pick up as well, and this pretty much indicates Atakan going towards the side of Syndicate.
Absolutely. You can feel the pressure on Poro patrols right now. I feel like the first half, the early games they were playing it more calm, calculated, collected, and everything. But now I feel like they're making these silly mistakes, which is costing them their objectives. Because the dragon is going to be up. Orianna and Alistair are the only ones on the map right now. But it is not enough for them to secure the dragon by themselves. And we already see the fight going on in mid. And
yeah, and I think Alistair's just been left to the dogs to be fed away. Terex as well. I don't know why Terex is walking that way. Maybe feeling too much pressure from Kagura on the side in the bush. But that's going to be a very dead big cow, as well as the Orianna robot going down over there. Sinj's daughter not enjoying the game. She's died 3 times already over here. Whilst Kagura has been flourishing 2-1 and 2 for himself. Has the Shadow Flame, has the Hextech belt as well, can jump into fights at a moment's notice, and this will also end up being Syndicate picking up another objective that's going to be their second Drake of the game, and it's going to be 1 Hextech going, so at least equal in terms of Drake numbers, but it's Poro Patrol losing crucial numbers just before objective fights that's allowing Syndicate to pick these up pretty much scot-free.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And as you were saying, this is the grand finals. I feel like the pressure is building up on both the teams. Both the teams are feeling that pressure and making these mistakes that is costing them some of these team fights. And oh, look at that Ash ult, but immediately Kaisa cleanse it out and falling back, not making the mistakes to get caught up in the team fight.
Yeah, but that's a very good Ash arrow coming. Because essentially, there was going to be no pressure from the side of Syndicate, but you get the cleanse out of Invoker because Invoker is playing it on the safe side, doesn't know who's close by at that point. Not much vision towards his own jungle side on the right side. Could have been getting flanked from there. So nice coming in from Harambe, gets the cleanse out of Kaiser. That could be crucial for further fights going on. Baron has spawned, been up for around 40 seconds. Syndicate probably looking towards that, and good macro coming out from Zuko. He's pushing the bot side, pulling more pressure towards him over there. Has the TP up available. So does Venom, the guy who has been matching him. But you can see that Zuko is already walking over here towards Baron. Kagura has TP to the top side, and instantly they come in. Nocturne's gone very deep over here, but Crown's going to be following up. Here comes Ash from the side. She can't be touched. And unfortunately, that's going to be Kaisa going down. It's a rampage for Zuko over here. Zuko ults the Alistair. Alistair ends up falling as well. Now Ivern getting slowed down. So much Qs coming out from the Ash, but does end up getting away. Daisy survives as well. But look at this. This is an opponent Daisy that has been spawned from the side of the Silas. And this pretty much signals the side of, Syndicate to end up picking up the Baron for themselves as well.
It is like crazy how the Nocturne knows who to target. Like, yes, he got a glimpse of that Kaisa and immediately jumps onto Kaisa. And now, due to that, they lost the team fight. They are losing the Baron. Poro Patrol is now very behind, and it's going to be very hard for them to jump back up from this loss.
Yeah, absolutely, it's going to be hard. Just look at the positioning over here. Nocturne went very deep, but the follow-up from his team was very good over here. Alistair's just left alone. This has happened time and time again. It's owned to him. But these Nocturne ults, after, a bit faulty ones earlier on, have been trying to lock down target selection for his team, and it is going very well on their side. There is no problems I can see with how they're trying to play it. The kills have only been 15 and 27, a less kill counter for most of what these two teams like to play, but it's still looking very special from them. Just look at the amount of pressure that Syndicate's being applying. Venom does lock in Apto over there, but Apto is so tanky right now. The Yorick pit is not coming out how they wanted, given how far sets are far ahead. Kagura is walking up. Here comes the Maiden. They're trying to narrow down the Maiden damage before it can actually do anything. Maiden's out of the picture. A nice 4-man Orianna ult, but there is no follow-up from POP. They can actually do nothing to manage it. In the meantime, third 2 on the bot side go down. Here comes the ultimate from the Braum. Alistar pops his own to try and get some reprise for himself. Deadeye is going very low in this fight, but is backing away. Here comes big man Zuko. Zuko's walk forward, but ends up going down. But look at the amount of damage coming out. Buzz Lightyear doing phenomenally in this matchup. Has played it so good, as well as the Braum. The follow-up is very important for their side. No problem whatsoever. And the CC lockdown, it's an ace for the side of Syndicate. Almost clean. Only Crown ends up following down in that matchup. But that looks like Syndicate is going to wrap up Game 1 in their favor and going to be heading into Game 2 in this Best of 5 series. 1-0 up onto Poro Patrol.
That is a crazy fight. Syndicate, they're like, we have to end this now. We have to force the fight, push them to end this game as soon as possible. They did not want to drag this out any longer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is just maybe Syndicate putting Poro Patrol a bit out of their misery. It did look like equal standings for a lot of the time. It looked like Poro Patrol was also in the lead for most of it. But just look at some of these last team fights going down over here. Crown doing a fantastic job, pulls in Invoker over here. Invoker has to flash over. Jazz's bot is just left alone. I don't understand what Terex is doing when he's trying to walk up this way. This is a bit of mispositioning from the Orianna. Gets caught out, completely punished by the side of Syndicate. They pick up their turrets, they pick up their kills, and they're pretty much happy about the entire situation. I think the Braum did a fantastic job of locking targets. Nocturne had a bit of a shaky start to the game, but picked it up quite a bit towards the end. Invoker using his ultimate very nicely to try and get out of a very sticky situation, but unfortunately, there's just too many members of Syndicate close by. There's too much of a lock-in on one target kind of comp from the side of Syndicate that just prevents like any individual of POP gets caught out. They're pretty much left for the Wolves at the point. Pretty much offered as a sacrifice. In the bot side over here, you can see Jazz's bot wants to go in. The Enchanter arrow lands on him, but he gets pretty much chain CC'd in spot. He does push over Deadeye's over here, but they can't just lock him down. They don't have the damage on the side of POP. They only managed to pick up Crown. But just look at how Kagura is going on the bot in towards this turn. He's stolen away the Alistar ultimate. So that's why he is so tanky over here. He can tank so many turret shots. Picks up a triple kill for himself as well. Does phenomenally, and Terex last man to fall, but it was pretty much GG after the Baron gets picked up by themselves, and Poro Patrol making silly mistakes throughout the entire game that have added up to, unfortunately, their demise in Game 1. Hopefully, we get to see a better performance from them in Game 2. Guys, remind you, this is a best of 5 series. This is Fearless Draft. Champions you have seen now won't be coming back again. But yes, pretty exciting coming out. Good macro. I really like the macro of Syndicate towards the later stage of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even if Poro Patrol was at start, they were like ahead, but now they because of the mistakes, they did fall back behind, and Syndicate took full advantage of it and immediately secured their objectives, secured the team fights, and finished the game. You were saying how in the champion select they were like, Poro Patrol is a more safe pick for them. They have to play it safe. They have to secure the objectives more. But Syndicate, on the other hand, you were saying they're gonna lock in on their targets. They're gonna try to initiate more team fights, and that is exactly what they did.
Exactly what they did, and this is the big smiling man. He looks a bit menacing, Abdo, but he is your MVP for Game 1 with the Bronx. I honestly think we could have given MVP to any multiple of members over there, and any one of them could have come out on top of it. It's a very good spot coming out from them that, the Brom comes in, he gets it for himself, he does lock it in, he's gone deathless, the assists come out, he's not even taking any kills away from his ADC, he has set them up in a lot of these team fights. It's him and the Nocturne that set up so much for it. The damage per mid, 216, doesn't matter. These are the stats that do not matter essentially to a support. It's about how crucial he is in these team fights and how much he does for his team. And like I said, anyone could have been given to him, but I think Abdo had that slight edge for himself going in this Game 1.
Absolutely. I feel like Syndicate played it very clean, calculated, and relentless. And it is their first win out of these best of three. But let's hope Poro Patrol does not make this demotivate them. And hopefully they can come back. Because even in the semifinals, we saw they did lose the first match. They did lose the first game. But the next two games, they immediately dominated it. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do the same thing in this finals, the grand finals of Legends Ascent, the third qualifier. And who knows, it will put some pressure back on Syndicate. So yeah, we're going to take a short break. Do stay tuned, and hopefully we'll be back with game 2 as soon as we can.
her touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all they got. I'm going to the top. On grind. I'm going in. On grind. Right on the way to the top. 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 On grind. I'm going in. On grind. I'm gonna win. Flip the let it I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. You're not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's up. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the boys. I feel like Joel and B, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all they got. I'm going to the top. On grind. I'm going in. On grind. Right on the way to the top. 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 On grind. I'm going in. I'm like that. On grind. I'm gonna win. Flip the let it I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm finding my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give me all I got. I'm going to the top. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we going up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's up. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the lead and I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm finding my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Give me all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 Did it, I did it, I did it. I'm going in. Got me like, grind. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we going up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink with the boys. I feel like Joel and B, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, 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 can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all they got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the they let it I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing a
Guys, welcome back to League of Legends, Legends Ascent South Asia. We are in Qualifier 3, the last of the qualifiers, and in the ultimate game, basically the finals. Later on, the third and fourth place finals will be streamed on Discord to see which is the third team that qualifies. Both teams right now in the finals have already qualified, so you have to keep that in mind that they might be more relaxed in their approach, but given how I seen Syndicate play, they are not relaxed. They are completely locked in. They're sweating it out of their minds, and they're punishing any mistakes that Poro Patrol is making. Poro Patrol a bit lacking, I think, in their draft wise. Maybe I have to change it up a bit. Maybe because it's Fearless Draft, they're approaching it in a different way. But that's how, when you guys have probably seen game one. Any more thoughts on how you thought game one went, Amico?
I feel like you were asking me about Ivern. I feel like that was a very weak pick for Poro Patrols compared to a Nocturne on the Team Syndicate. So maybe this game, I'm curious to see how they're going to switch up their jungler and their top laner, if they can make that comeback, because it is the grand finals. They need to actually lock in. Poro Patrol needs to lock in to make sure that they can win this game. It's game 2, Syndicate versus Poro Patrol. Syndicate already have one game in their books. Poro Patrol needs to step up their game this round, and we are seeing they are already starting the banning phase, and soon they will be picking their champions.
Yeah, and Syndicate gonna follow up. They really don't want to give Terex this Malzahar, because when Terex had this Malzahar in what do you call the semifinals, he did lock in a lot of targets. He did apply a lot of pressure. Yet again, the Jarvan ban against Deadeyes, they really don't respect that. Maybe his Zinjao is something that is on the books that he likes to play. The Caitlyn not available for Invoker. He did lock in Kai'Sa as his first pick last time. Unfortunately, did not play dividends, not entirely to his fault, maybe a bit of lack of communication for his team. But the Gwen ban comes in. Gwen, a very flexible champion, could have gone either in Deadeyes' hand or Zuko's hands, aka Crown. But yeah, they don't want to have that flexibility in the hands of Syndicate. It's up to Syndicate for what they want to ban for their third pick. It's gonna be the Nautilus ban. And yes, that's a very good ban coming in for them. As we talk, Nautilus, a good champion, a lot of CC available to him. And Poro Patrol, as their last ban, gonna ban out the Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser is such a unique champion in the sense, for our region at least, it gets picked or it gets banned. I was very surprised it went through the first stage of banning, and that's what exactly what I was talking about right now here. Crown, sorry, not Crown, but Syndicate locks in the Zinjao for Deadeyes, and Deadeyes did a fantastic job, even got an MVP on this champion. So they have to, not an MVP, but he did have an almost MVP kind of performance where Harambe a bit outshone him, because that's basically what he does. But Poro Patrol want to go back towards that Jinx, and they lock it in. And Nico, you were here for for semifinals one. The Jinx did not do that good for Invoker, right?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that it will work out for them. I was actually going to mention how they're locking in on Jinx. They're hoping that we can make that recovery, which we lost in the semifinals game 1, and they are locking in on that Rammus, denying Syndicate to ban that in the second ban phase. Curious to see what they are going to pick for their bot lane, because they are not going to be able to pick Ashe or Kai'Sa, and the Braum is also played in the last game. We saw Alistair in the last game, and we see Vayne locked in from Team Syndicate. It is an interesting game. Vayne late game is going to be very dangerous for Poro Patrol, but same for Jinx. If Jinx is able to farm properly in that early game and make those items, the crucial items at the early stage, it will be really good for Poro Patrol and utilize the Jinx and her abilities for the team fights and all. And we see Milio being locked in from Team Syndicate. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good pairing up. We have seen the Vayne and Milio in qualifiers 2 and 1, certain teams, but I'm a bit skeptical about the Vayne pick. There are a bunch of ADCs open up that do fantastically as well, and you've already seen that the Jinx was locked in. Jinx gets paired up with the Lulu, a very classic combo in the bot side earlier on. Now it's changed quite a bit, but Enchanter supports on both sides. Vayne, it's gonna be a bit hard early on in the lanes if the Jinx and Lulu played really well against him, because Jinx has that range on the Vayne, especially when she gets her rocket launcher farm, does a lot of damage. But yeah, this was locked in the Rammus. That is the most interesting thing for me for Poro Patrol, because it did wonders for them in semifinal 1, and they did lock in a lot of targeted plays. Everyone was scared of the spinning Beyblade, right? You were there, you watched it,
Yeah.
and they don't want to give the Diana over towards the side of Kagura, aka Buzz Lightyear, because he, with the Diana, did end up picking the first blood when he played this champion in semifinal 1.
So I like Poro Patrol actually needs to play this out very calm and collected, because if they make the same mistakes they did in game 1, this will cause them the game 2. And I feel like if you were saying that Jinx, again, they have to make sure that they are doing proper peels for their Jinx, because last game we saw that Kai'Sa was not really getting that support she needed from their team. But this time they have a Rammus and a Lulu. Rammus hoping that he can jump in on the enemy team's head as soon as possible, and we see Mundo and Trundle being banned. That is 2 top laners. Push is not going to happen this game.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen at all. We did see that when the Mundo was picked in one of the semifinals, the Trundle was the answer, but Syndicate are doubling down on the top lane bans, giving the Mundos out, the Malphites out. It's no longer on the question for the side of Venom in the top side. Venom was struggling a bit in terms of CS with the Yorick last game. He didn't get, he was also basically a push champion with the Yorick, but never even got the chance to, split push, because by the time it reached that stage of the game, their team was already so far behind that he didn't have any avenues to go in. Is that a rel?
Is that a rel? Yeah, that's a rel. Okay.
I'm as perplexed as you are, Nico, because doesn't make sense. I think that indicates a bit of a rehost, because I think that was maybe a bit of a DC between these two teams, because that didn't make any sense at all. Okay, we're gonna talk about the side of the draft before the rel pick, because I think that's not going to be materializing later on between these two teams.
Probably, yeah.
But probably until that point, yeah. The Mundo ban, the Trundle ban does make a lot of sense. I really want to see how deep the pockets are of Venom and how he wants to play the top lane, because we know that Zuko has a pretty vast array of top laners, is pretty well versatile, has the Gnar still to be locked in for maybe his blind pick top side. He does play a pretty decent Gnar, so I'm more worried about the side of what Venom's going to end up picking up between these two teams, because honestly the comps are looking good, but the Vayne is a bit of anomaly in this kind of a comp, because you had so many options open. The Vayne, I would have maybe reserved it for maybe game 3, game 4 if it goes that far, because that's when maybe the Vayne pick out comes out, or the ADCs that are basically not currently that strong in the meta compared to other ones.
Yeah, it could be that, but I feel like they booked in game one, so I feel like they're feeling that confidence and they are going to go for that cocky pick and be like, nah, we got this. Hopefully we can secure this. Hopefully Pro Patrol will not be making the mistakes and they can actually not like they can easily overcome the loss from the game and utilize their bot lane and mid lane. We're yet to see what they are going to pick in the mid lanes and top lanes. So, what are your thoughts? What might be the picks for the mid laners?
I think it's very open. I think maybe blind pick and Ari is not a bad situation over here for the side of the blue side. Like being that where you blind pick, so you have to think about the blind picking champions for the side of Syndicate and what you can answer back with the side of Purple Patrol, because it's on that kind of a margin, because Purple Patrol have taken red side and they do have that crucial last pick. They can counter, pick for themselves later on, and so these kind of things add to the equation of what you want to pick. Ari is left open, very good champion. I'm pretty sure Kagura can play to almost perfection between them. We're gonna have a bit of a rehost. We're gonna go back in the draft. They're not gonna change much else. You already pretty much know, at least for the first three picks on both sides. Going into this, you can see the Nautilus was banned out, the Caitlyn, the Malzahar. It's the same things going on over again. I don't mind seeing Terex maybe picking up the Galio for his side, because he did play a phenomenal Galio once he was getting diffed a bit in semifinals 1. So his Galio pick maybe something to look out for, maybe something that gets taken away from him. But if they stick to the second phase of banning the same way, the Galio is still open, and I pretty much anticipate maybe Terex going for that pick.
Yeah, could be, because in semifinals we saw how amazing he played Galio, and I think he was the MVP in that game after playing Galio, because he was there whenever his team needed him. Any team fight, he immediately jumped in with his ult, hoping that his teammate will survive that fight and winning that team fights. So there's that. And what about Syndicate? What mid laners, what they might pick to counter Galio if they end up taking Galio?
I think it's a bit on the side that you have to keep a bit of range for it. Even the Ari against the Galio is not the best matchup. You're not going to end up maybe winning lane in the sense that you can dominate, maybe get first blood, but you provide a lot of utility for your team later on with your abilities and your charms, crucial charms to land. I think it has to be a bit about the Vayne coming into that. You have to protect her around. She does have guiding mobility for herself. One of the more mobile ADCs that you get to see around, especially with her tumbles coming in here, there, left, right. I really want to see Harambe channel his inner Hayam Gosu and maybe play out of his mind and dominate, because this is a kind of player that is at the power of getting MVP type performances. And as we were talking about that guys, that Rel was not the thing that they wanted to lock in for Poro Patrol. It's gonna be the Ornn getting blind pick in the top set, so they want to keep the counter pick open for them. Yeah, it is a very tanky pick, as well as it does provide the ornaments for his teams. That's something that you don't want a Jinx to be getting. And exactly what I was thinking. Syndicate don't want Dex to take the Galio, so they're like, what else can we do? We're just going to take it for ourselves and move on further on in this draft.
It's like last game, Poro Patrol denying Syndicate from their Orianna, and now Syndicate's like, oh, you guys denied us of our Orianna. We're taking your Galio. And it is I feel like Shen is a very good pick for Syndicate, especially you were saying that they need to peel for their Vayne, and Shen is going to be that person. Hopefully, they have Shen, they have Galio, they have Jinzhao. It is going to be very crucial for them to hope that their ADC survives throughout the team fight and they can win those team fights. And we see a mage pick for Poro Patrol mid lane Veigar. Now that's something I didn't see, and I'm curious to see.
Yeah, and talking about that Veigar, right? It is also very scaling, exactly almost like the Jinx in terms of how much you scale further on the game. You want to get those Veigar stacks for yourself, scale up with them. But Syndicate look like a very, very balanced comp coming in with that Shen last pick. You already have the Shen, instantly can go into the protection for the Vayne or anybody who's gone in deep in. You can have Kagura Basilier coming in with the hero's entrance, does provide a lot of replace. But at the same time, Poro Patrol also have a ton of CC this time in the comp. I think they were lacking that a bit last time, right? They had a bit of a hodgepodge comp in the time that we were talking. They have to be more spread out across the map, and this won't be the case right now for them. It's going to be pretty much protect the president. Now you have two presidents, essentially, the Veigar and the Jinx. The Veigar, if Terex keeps the spacing that he really wants to go for, it can happen. I don't think Buzz Lightyear can go for, the kind of pressure that he really does like to apply in lane, especially against a Veigar. He'll probably be looking to go for roams to get his team ahead in those kind of avenues. And seeing the Shen, the Ornn, I still think these guys are going to hammer away at each other. And what do you think, Nico? Where do you think the Arakan's going to spawn this game?
Definitely top. I am giving up on bot lane. Atakan hopefully spawning in top. We keep seeing the top laners poking one another throughout the whole game, and that is probably exactly what's going to happen. But speaking of top lane, Shen, he has a very good global map pressure. So it is going to be interesting to see how he will support the team. But both the teams have good amount of CC to lock down the opponent. So it is interesting to see how they will play. Both the teams have very well balanced out champions. They have AD, they have tank, they have AP, everything as well. It is now up to the ADCs on how they scale, and up to Veigar, as you said, Veigar and Jinx. It is very crucial for them that they are able to scale throughout the game and perform well, and hopefully do the damage that they want to do. Because last game we saw that Orianna did land some beautiful ults, but it was just not enough for the Poro Patrol to execute the team fights and maybe get a kill or two.
Yeah, exactly like you talked about, right? The Orianna did land, I think, a 3-man, even a 4-man, ultimate for herself, but there's no follow-up because it was coming a bit too later in the game. We want to see these ultimates coming out from that kind of a player like Terex earlier on in the fights, but now with the Veigar, he can play it a bit more slowly because he gets so much stronger as much as the game progresses, as well as Invoker, right? You have Jazz is about going with him over there. I really want to see the protection coming out because you do have huge front lines in the versions of the Ornn and the Rammus. While Syndicate's front line is going to be that Shen and the Galio. The Shen in recent metas completely picked up in pick rate, completely picked up in win rates, is doing phenomenally after being, a bit absent technically in the scene nowadays. I don't think I've ever seen Zuko play this champion, so I'm very interested to see how it goes down for him and if he's going to apply the same kind of aggression that he was applying when he was playing the set, because you are more limited in how you want to move around and what you want to do between these guys and everything. But Deadeyes with this Zinjao be looking for so many early ganks. That is what Poro Patrol has to be scared about. They have to be scared of the level 3, level 4 gank. Last time Poro Patrol with the Ivor, even though he's a bit weaker in the early stages, did manage to get a good gank in the bot side, but even then their bot side fell behind. So you have to think about where you want to put your investment and how much ROI you're going to get back from it, and that's exactly how you have to proceed in these kind of matchups. Mind you guys, this is Syndicate 1-0 up into Poro Patrol. They have a bit of momentum on this side. They are feeling confident, as Aniko said, along with that Vayne pickup for themselves. I really want to see how Harambe does against the Jinx in the bot lane, given that both supporters are enchanters, essentially.
And then there is the thing about Ornn, free item upgrades, so we do not know how that will play out for Poro Patrols. It is going to be interesting to see how they're going to play this out. Will Jinzhao want to get Galio and Shen ahead throughout the game and all? So if the map goes quiet, it will favor the red side. So it is important for Shen and Galio to help their ADC, as I mentioned before, but for Poro Patrol, it is a very risky game for them because Jinx and Veigar need to make sure that they're actually farming enough, getting their objectives properly, and being able to upgrade their items as soon as they can so that they are able to do that proper damage and all.
Yeah, exactly. Like the side of the red side, Paw Patrol scales so well, especially with ornaments coming in for your Vigor and your Jinx. It's a lot that can be said. But guys, that was all we were talking about. Was on paper, was in theory. Let's see what these two teams do in the different. Hopefully, Paw Patrol plays towards their late game side comp. Try to keep it as less noise of a game two as they can hope until they get to a point where they will be outright dominating these 5v5 fights. This is, remind you, game two of a best of five series between Syndicate and Poro Patrol. Syndicate ended up winning game one in a bit of dominating fashion towards the end of parts. It was pretty even earlier on, so hopefully Poro Patrol can keep that evenness for a longer bit of time so that their champions that they really want to get, their hyperscaling champions, they can get to a point where they're pretty much unmatchable. I really want to see Harambe pull out his inner high and Gosu and go for it. He's gone for the barrier flash instead of the ghost flash for him, so maybe we're more confident with his movement, with his fighting abilities. So hopefully we can see that going out. You can see normally right now both teams across the map just spreading out parallelly, nothing in terms of invasion or in terms of getting deep control for the side of Poro Patrol at least. But you can see that Poro Patrol has put down defensive wards, but Syndicates haven't challenged. You can see the Galio's going a bit late at the 1 minute, 20-minute mark, going to put that ward towards the Raptors, and it's instantly going to spot where the Rammus starts from.
I completely agree. And Rammus is like a very good pick for them because it will be like Rammus into Jinzhao and Vayne is a great counter, except the taunt into like instant deletion. And then we also have, but they have the Galio who also has a taunt. So we already see that Vayne is poking down the enemy team Jinx, not letting Jinx take that advantage of the range. And back to seeing top lane poking one another.
Yeah, and the top poking does go on, but like you were saying, the bot side is also being very much more eventful this time. Apto, up in the back foot, has to be more used to playing the Enchanter support because he's no longer attacking. The top side, Crown taking Venom very low. He has to pop his cookie as well as his health pot. Invoker, we also get the third shot. He does get the silver board stacks onto Invoker, and Invoker has to be careful how he wants to play the lane because the Vayne can explode. Level 6 pretty much can beat anybody in a 1v1 if he plays it correctly from the side of Harambe. Over here, Crown does get the stun, but does end up getting a tower shot over here, so Venom equalizing it there. But Venom, once again, a bit on the back foot. So is the Veigar in the mid side against Kagura.
Absolutely. Who do you think is Jinzhao going to be focusing on lane-wise? Who do you think he's going to be ganking more?
It's a bit tough because both his lanes are basically being pushed in right now. He has nothing to do. He is basically going to have to power farm quite a bit. The Rammus, on the other hand, is the guy who should be looking for getting a gang, maybe in the bot side, because you don't want the Vayne scaling too much. The Shen, even if he gets behind in CS, will be strong, so even if you get him behind, won't be that much of a factor. Oh, the taunt lands last order from Zuko onto Venom. Venom not getting enough distance as he wanted. He even had the flash available. Maybe dash away and flash to match it, so in case Zuko does the taunt that he exactly did. But unfortunately, this game, Syndicate is the one drawing first blood with a solo bolo for Zuko against Venom in the top lane.
And they get the first blood. I feel like they are putting the pressure on Poro Patrol, and Poro Patrol needs to step up their game because they look a bit nervous. And look at Galio just walking in and getting that kill.
Yeah, that was Galio just showing some dominance. I thought Kagura would play a bit more safe for the Galio role, but no, he's like, nope. I know I'm a slightly better mid laner in this matchup, and he's trying to assure that to the audiences as well. So both the solo lanes picking up a kill respectively in individual matchups. So that's already a mental point as well, 2 kill points for the side of Syndicate. And Poro Patrol have to play it a bit on the slower mark, have to not give Syndicate these opportunities because they are a late side comp for the side of Poro Patrol. You have to play to that kind of a strength, and you have to try to slow down the game as much as you want because this is already 2 kills inside of 5 minutes. This is not what you want for the side of Poro Patrol. Orange already behind in XP as well.
It's like not even 5 minutes yet, and they're like fighting in both the lanes, and two points for Syndicate already for Fleet Soak Warfare. And again, Shen playing it very aggressively, pushing back Venom back under his tower.
Yeah, and this is basically the Ornn was blind pick, so the Shed was a counter pick coming from the side of Syndicate, how they wanted to do it, and this is exactly the kind of pressure that was put in. On the other time, the Veigar was the last pick for Poro Patrol, so they exactly knew what the Veigar was walking into. Unfortunately, he's not maybe sticking to the game plan that Poro Patrol really wanted to put in, the way getting completely pushed into. Kagura always seems to hit level 6 before his counterpart in any game that I cast of him. So Kagura really one of a very crucial pickup for the side of Syndicate and how they want to play out these matchups.
And Syndicate is, oh, look at the minimap. Syndicate is already starting the first dragon, hoping to secure it. Rammus is still farming, letting them take that dragon. I don't think they know, because they do not have vision near the dragon. And that Mountain Drake goes to Syndicate, the first drag. And Galio is pushing Veigar under the tower.
Yeah, and he is asserting dominance. That's going to be first jungle objective going over to Syndicate. Going to be a Mountain Drake that they apply. And you don't want to get Mountain Drakes onto people like the Shen and the Galio. They're already so tanky enough. Venom tries to come in to get some more chip damage against the Shen. But Shen completely dominating this lane. Already 10 CS out. As well as the Galio on the Veigar. Veigar having to play very, very safely. Especially the kind of clear that Galio has on these waves. On the bot side, it's going to be the Jinx falling behind itself. So basically across all three lanes, Syndicate up in terms of CS and maybe even itemization.
Like, all three of the lanes, they're very pushed up and they're very behind in farms as well, that it is going to be very hard for them to finish that first item and try to start the fights. Especially for Ornn, because he is very behind in his CS. Look at his CS. He's like 15 CS behind now. And the goal lead is leaning towards Syndicate right now. And the next objective is Void Grubs. Will we be seeing bot lane rotating towards Void Grubs and maybe having a fight in near the bot side? Or are they just going to continue focusing on their lanes in bot lane?
And very interestingly, Invoker has gone for the Berserker Race. He wants to get that movement speed, but that delays so much the time he needs for his Yuntals as well. The Vayne's still taking slowly, only 2 long swords in her itemization, but she's up in CS. She has good prioritization over here that allows her team to pick up the Drake early on. They set a good pace for the Grubs as well. Xinjiao's close by, so is the Rammus. We don't see swaps from the bot this time, at least for the side of Syndicate. So now maybe we get to see more of a traditional type of grub fight between these teams, because they are playing it more on the safer side. The Melio is doing well for Abdo. I don't know how well Jazz will do with this Lulu later on in these fights. But here comes the Rammus in the top side. Here comes the spinning Beyblade. Zuko getting caught out. But here comes Galio, the hero's entrance with the taunt. Locks in the Rammus. Another taunt by the Shen. Rammus ultimates away to safety. Deadice was just around the corner, but a bit too late in terms of tempo. But Rammus has to recall. This pretty much allows Syndicate to start off the Grubs over here.
Absolutely. I feel like Poro Patrol is playing it a bit too safe.
Yeah, it does seem a bit too safe on their side. Absolutely, as you were saying. And they are not punishing any mistakes that can happen at all. And they don't even have much to punish, because Syndicate playing pretty flawlessly in the lanes. They have no problem whatsoever about how they want to go about. As you said, all 3 lanes winning in terms of CS, in terms of push potential. Xinjiao is pretty much having a jungler's dream that he can just focus on his own camps and objectives while his entire lanes have priority. And it's just a very tough battle for POP at this moment, that they have to fight back from already on the back foot between these teams right now. And it's just not something that POP wanted to do, especially with the kind of draft that they have drafted for themselves. They are on the back foot, they are the scaling comp, but the way the Syndicates are going, they don't even want POP to reach a point that they can actually answer back. Just look at the amount of pressure Zuko's providing the top side. Already has the Tiamat. The only problem with the Tiamat pick up. You really want to get the Titanic Hydra, but the TMI pickup does maybe force the lane Suzuko. Playing it very cautiously, getting the lane to get to him, maybe try to freeze it against him like that. Ornn can't essentially walk up, can't do anything against them. Galio, just look at him. 1-0-0, has a CS differential between them, is doing a fantastic job. And I really can't fault anything that Syndicate has done at this point. Ornn is just eating very unnecessary taunts at this point. Might end up going down the flash forward. This auto secures the team of warfare for the side of Shen. And oh boy, it's not looking like it's going for Poro Patrol's favor at all, is it, Aniko?
He is getting bullied right under his tower, and look at the Jinx ult being missed. All the lanes are literally bullying Poro Patrol, making them staying under tower, and especially for top lane, he's not even safe under the tower. He's like getting flashed and dived, and it is not really looking good for Ornn. Look at the CS lead Shen has. He's already done with his item. He has a bounty, so does Galio. And like the global alts are a very huge advantage for Syndicate because they can immediately jump in, and we already saw how they jumped in, and they're starting their second dragon already.
Yeah, this second Drake is going around very, very fast, and Syndicate abusing the pressure they have across the map. The Ornn honestly can't die the second time to a solo kill. He has to respect how Zook is going. Maybe give up some farm, because otherwise you're giving up more 300 gold to the Shen, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. Like you pointed out, Shen already has completed the Titanic Hydra, is very well ahead. Rammus on the hand, only a Thorn Mill. The Jinx also no item completed. She has boots completed, Berserkers, but the Vayne has that as well. Already towards maybe her next item at the bot side. And every lane, maybe only the jungle from the side of Poro Patrol, maybe almost even in terms of camps with the side of the Xinjiao, but he's not getting any objectives. And that is a state of worry over here.
Look at Rammus and Lulu roaming around, setting up. Hopefully. The next dragon is after like 7 minutes, but Rammus is trying to counter jungle Xinjiao, hoping that he can maybe deny something for the enemy team. And we look at Vayne just pushing in with his ult.
Ult pop. Here comes the ult from the Lulu. Invoker has been forced to flash away. Another fight going on in the meantime in the mid lane. That's the Rammus locked up. Can Rammus get away? Again, in almost Dejo fashion towards the top side where it happened to him. Has to ult to get to safety. Unfortunately for Invoker, pops barrier, pops flash, but gets away with his life. Arambe has also popped his flash in the exchange. Xinjiao, you're a bit too deep here, buddy, but here comes the hero's entrance. Rammus, you're locked up in place. The flash taunt does land, but the flash away from the Rammus gets to safety. And that's the end of the exchange. A lot of summoners being burnt over there. A nice hero's entrance coming in from Kagura. Always there for backup for his team.
Almost. He almost got the Rammus. But like, that again, as I was saying, like Galio, he just knows when his teammates need him, when he has to be there for his teammates, and that was like a very good play with his ult. And every lane is so active. Something is going on in every freaking lane.
Yeah, they're not putting up and letting up at all. They're not letting Poro Patrol breathe. It seems like an even tighter game compared to game 1, because at least until the 14th or 13th minute, Poro Patrol was on equal standing, but Syndicate blowing a bit out of the water, up a bunch of gold, almost hitting the 3k margin as well. And now turret platings have fallen. No advantage for Invoker, maybe pushing the lanes over here. They have all the jungle objectives for the side of Syndicate. They have the upgraded boost. They have the feats of strength as well. Venom, he's just not been playing like the man that we've seen him playing in the semifinals. And it looks like he's met his match in the form of Zuko, right?
Shen is already like with his first item, but like Ornn not really done with his Sunfire. Still getting pushed back by Crown, hoping that he will be able to at least farm properly, peacefully. But look at the like farm lead Shen has, 134 and 85. It is going to be hard for him to come back, and Shen just under the tower, bullying him at this point and getting him for the
no.
third time.
That is just unfortunate for Venom. This time, as you said, getting killed underneath his turn. This is a bit of cyberbullying coming out from the side of Zuko, asserting complete dominance against the Ord. Just look at the CS difference between these guys. Already at such a high level, almost 60 CS between them. Rammus is coming here onto the Galio, but I don't think you want this smoke, especially with Harambe so close by. If Rammus was a second too late in ulting away, maybe a condemn against the wall from the Vayne would have maybe secured his fate, at least for his first death.
It is like every lane is just active. Syndicate is like, we are not going to let them play this peacefully. Compared to game 1, this is completely being dominated by Syndicate this whole game. They have the goal lead, 25k to 22k for POP. POP needs to step up, especially like securing objectives, because they have not been able to secure any objectives yet. I feel like Syndicate just has better team comp at this point, because Veigar and Jinx are not really able to do anything, but hopefully Jinx might be able to do something, because she does have the CS lead right here, we can see.
Yeah, very, very good point. She has a CS lead, she has the Unitals completed, so she's going to maybe get some more critical strikes for her. But Rammus is just, what is this movement from this man? He's trying to bait the Xinjiao to come forward, but look here, Rammus gets instantly condemned against the wall. Does not have the ultimate to get out, but is very tanky. Invoker might be paying for the sins of the Rammus. One more auto maybe secures it. But the Lulu wall comes in at such a good time, but still Invoker is in a bit of no man's land. The cage from the Veigar a bit too late, and that's gonna be Invoker going down for his first death. A bit of caster curse coming out from Eniko when we were saying that maybe the Jinx was a bit ahead. Unfortunately, ends up going down, and that's gonna be Syndicate starting up their third drink of the game.
It absolutely, and Vayne just like locked in, like, I'm not letting this Jinx go today. She has to die. She has to go, and that's what they did. It was a full-on Aram in bot lane, to be honest.
Yeah, but here comes the Rammus. He's coming in, but Rammus, this is a bit of a desperation play. I don't think you want to get any of the smoke. He was doing kind of a drive-by. He was jumping onto Harambe, but there is just so much support for Harambe in that fight that the Vayne does not end up going down. It's going to be the Rammus very carelessly giving away his life. Terex wants to catch out the Millie over here, gets him in the stun, locks him off with the R, actually secures a kill for himself. So POP is punishing maybe some of Syndicate's mistakes, but it might be a little too late for their side.
I feel like, yeah, it's a bit too late, and I feel like POP, like, the teammates they have, they're not really, the timing is not really for them, I feel, because of that. They're not being able to punish them properly and secure the objectives. Milio, when Milio comes in, I feel like she pairs with Vayne very well. The heals, the movement, the speed, the cleanse from the ult is very helpful for Vayne, and along with the other teammates Vayne has, she is proper peel that I feel like Jinx is not really getting proper throughout this game.
Absolutely, and Vayne instantly sees this, gets caught in the chompers, unfortunately. Invokers are going to take a lot of chunk damage over here, going down below the 50% of HP. Here comes Rammus, he's going blindly in over here. This is going to get hold up. He does have his ultimate soon here, he can use the ultimate get out, but I think he can just walk up, but Xinjiao is just not letting up. Rammus is getting bullied in his own jungle. Ornn is coming here to join the fight, but I don't think you want any of this that's being dealt at you, Ornn, especially once you're 0-3 down. Already died maybe 3 solo kills to Zuko in the top side. I think Zuko's done a fantastic job. What do you think, Aniko?
Absolutely. He is just denying them anything that's going on. Look at the like gold on Shen, Xinjiao, Galio. They're done with their items, whereas not
the
1 minute
is
goes
pretty.
by. It's not even like I can't keep up. What's going on?
The Ornn is getting bullied right now. Oh, Zuko almost died to that last turret shot, but unfortunately, Deadeye's good spacing, good juggling, slightly maybe missteps towards the end. But yeah, not a moment goes by before fighting goes out, and Ornn unfortunately sees the gray screen for the 4th time. This time, maybe not to his own fault. He did get dived under turret by 2 members, but I think the first 3 kills is where Ornn should have maybe slowed down the pace and maybe try to get a grasp on the game. It's not looking good for the side of Poro Patrol. The only kill they got was Terex catching out the Milio after maybe the 3rd Drake was being taken away from Syndicate.
And like it's not like it's barely 20 minutes. Everything's going, like something's going on in each and every lane. Look at Rammus, look at his position. He is planning to tower dive them if Jinx and Lulu are able to properly maybe lock in, but Shen is also near bot side, and look, he's like utilizing that hex tech, trying to find them as well.
Yeah, but here comes the hero's entrance from the Galio. I think you don't want to get this Poro Patrol started this fight with an excellent position from Rammus, but unfortunately not enough players. Venom even TP to this bot side of the lane, but I think they're just maybe trying to get the turret for themselves, but they have to give the tier 1 bot side turret to the side of Syndicate, run away with their lives. It's the Rammus and the Jinx that end up going down, maybe even Terex at this point, but a good cage from him prevents Jinzhao from following up on him.
Absolutely. They are, Syndicate is dominating it. Look at the gold lead they have. It's 36.8k and Poro Patrol is only in 30k gold. So it is going to be a bit hard.
Absolutely will be a bit hard for them. Like, it's such a big goal difference at this point. 9 kills to 1, 3 Drakes by Syndicate. They already on Infernal Soul Point as well. Sorry, Hextech Soul Point as well as they have 3 grubs. So the turret, the turret pushing will just be phenomenal from the side of Syndicate, and that's what they even did in game 1. Again, Venom always gets hit by these taunts from the Shen. Has to maybe try and dodge a bit few here and there, but might be a bit too late for that, given how far ahead this Shen is. Has gone for a very Flicker Blade, so we're getting up his taunts even further along as long as he keeps on autoing the enemy champions.
They're like leaning, like both the teams are like playing towards the top side, but the dragon is going to be up soon, so it is crucial for Poro Patrols not to make any mistakes and not like lose the team fight right now, because if they lose this, it will be soul point for Syndicate, and the dragon is up. Syndicate already starting it and have more control, but Rammus is just roaming around mid. I think they are going to let them take the soul point. What?
They tried a miraculous steal with the Jinx, the Super Mega Death Rocket from downtown, but they can't contest it. Jinx is in the top side of the map, can't do anything. Venom might get caught out over here. Xinjiao, Deadeye's is coming up. I'm pretty sure this is the Ornn dead for the 5th time this game. This Ornn has not been allowed to breathe whatsoever. He's getting absolutely bullied. I think Zuko, you have to let the man breathe right now. I don't think he's worth even much gold after 5 deaths like that, but still the pressure is being applied. This is looking like even a bigger gap between these two teams than we saw in game 1.
Like, look at the kills. Look at 10 to 1 kill. Oh, that is, Poro Patrol is very behind, and they are already starting Atakan, whereas everybody's near bot lane, so they're gonna lose Atakan as well. Poro Patrol is not really being able to contest any of the objectives, and right now I think the only thing they can do is try to push mid, put some pressure in mid, hopefully. Lulu trying to do the deep wards in the red side jungle.
Yeah, but I think it's a little too late at some point, because what do you do right now? Atakan's been taking every jungle objective on the map. till now has been taken by Syndicate and Poro Patrol completely on the back foot. They have to try and stack up as much as you can, but Vayne already an item up. Here comes the smite from the Rammus onto Zuko. The taunt lands into the chompers. It might be Zuko end up going down. He does taunt across the Rammus, does flash away from the ultimate. He might even live, and that's exactly what it is. But unfortunately, the Veigar pretty much gangbanged underneath his turret. A 4-man dive onto him, and Veigar was just caught a bit too precariously over. Not much mobility in the champion once the cage is down, and that's exactly what is punished by Syndicate. They take the tier 1 mid lane, they take the tier 2 mid lane. They're still going to even try to put damage in tier 3, but unfortunately, they don't have a wave. Choose better of it. Ping's coming down towards the Baron. I think this is Poro Patrol having to think about game 3 at this point.
Absolutely. They are not even safe under their own tower.
Yeah, they are not safe at all.
Yeah.
Like you said, they can't do anything. Baron's going to be given away from free. I just don't see any hope for Poro Patrol unless Syndicate maybe does some mistakes. It's Syndicate's game to throw at this point, right?
Yes, they need to do like very significant mistakes to actually make Poro Patrol come back, which is very unlikely at this point because Syndicate is playing this so confidently and they just have the right amounts of peel. Look at their items. The Vayne is done with already 2 items done with the boots. They look at the golds. The shutdowns are going to be very helpful for POP, but they're just not doing enough damage. The teammates are not really there to follow up when the fights are getting initiated, when the objectives are needed to be claimed.
Oh no, the Jinx! The Jinx!
Oh,
The
no.
flash was followed by the auto from the Vayne. Ends up going down. Invoker was just trying to casually get something for himself, some sense of a gold more in his pocket, but unfortunately does not happen. The Ornn has hit level 14, has got the ornaments coming up, but here comes Deadeye. Here comes again. It's another attempt of a dive onto him. Crown has to be careful, he might end up going down, but no. Nice juggling after Dagger. Crown gets out of range. The tier 2 in the bot side, the tier 2 in the top side. This is all round
They have
domination
the
with this
Baron
Baron
buff.
coming in. Yeah, and Chen is recalling. He's trying to come back up. Here comes the Rammus. A last-ditch effort, essentially. The hero's entrance pretty much secures Rammus's death over here. He can't get down. Tier 3 ends up going down, and just like that, it's pretty much the collapse of POP. One by one, the members fall down. Invoker caught again over here, and a flash taunt onto the Lulu. They don't want to leave anybody alive whatsoever, and they are having so much fun. They are just running it down over here, and they are taking us to game 3 with them being 2-0 in the lead right now.
What a game. Oh my god. This was a crazy game. No chill whatsoever from Team Syndicate. Fight going on in each and every lane. It was active. Not even 1 second goes by where there was not a fight. And they absolutely, we can see in the instant replay, absolutely bullied this Ornn.
Yeah, it was bullying of the Ornn. I don't think Venom's going to be playing this champ anytime soon, as a blind pick at least, because it did not work out in their favor whatsoever. The Rammus pick also not paying any dividends. The heroes' entrances were just coming always in time. Deadeye's was across the map exactly wherever he has to be. Complete dominance, but it was also applied because all his lanes were winning. There's nothing you can do, and it's a 27-minute game, one of its faster types. Unfortunately, POP only got one entire kill in this game, that being on the Veigar when he caught out the melee when he was running away from the Dragon Pit. So, POP definitely have to get back to the drawing board. They have their backs against the wall because it takes Syndicate only one more game to win before they become your champions of Qualifier 3.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was really not working out for POP, and as you said, that Veigar and Jinx was a very risky pick for them, and it did not really work out for them. They were not being able to scale, they were not doing that proper damage. Rammus was really caught in places where he should not have been. They just lost those team fights because of their positioning, and because of these mistakes, it did cause them this game. And I feel like they should step up their game. It's the best of 5. They still have a chance. The percentage is very low, but if they are being able to do that comeback, it's going to be crazy. We might be able to see game 5. Who knows? Hopefully.
Yeah, poor Brutal really have to pull up their socks because their drafts are not working out the way they wanted to. Even after semifinals where Invokers Jinx didn't even get to utilize, he still thought maybe this game they can maybe get up to that point. But Ornn completely bullied underneath his start. Basically all lanes bullied. Every time the Vayne had the R in her arsenal, pops it forward, tumbles forward, provides so much damage onto the Jinx. Jinx not allowed to breathe. The Lulu sometimes coming in with the ultimates for the save, but it was just not enough for them whatsoever. And I think it's a bit of a hard point at this point for Poor Patrol because now you're even further on in the Fearless draft. You can't pick up champions that you really wanted to pick up, like the Jinx, maybe like the Veigar. And I don't think late game scaling comps are the proficiency of a team like Poor Patrol. They'd like to show aggression or at least fight early on, so because it has to be something of that kind. But guys, we will be taking a short break before we continue the action in Game 3, where either you will see the side of Syndicate take us just to Game 3, or Pure Patrol start to mount their comeback.
lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. And I got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit zero. I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic duo. Win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. When they see my ambition, I'm not a regular civilian. Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's up. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us.
Guys, welcome back to Deciding Action. It has been a bit dominating qualifier 3 finals between League of Legends, between Poro Patrol and Syndicate. We'll take a bit look at the stats of last game as well, as we didn't have the opportunity before, but it was a pretty, one-sided affair, if I might say so myself. We were hoping Nico, side Poro Patrol, it was a better showing here, Nico, because it is a bit of a, a bit of a gap just widening between these two teams right now.
Absolutely. Like the first game, even if it was an even matchup, Syndicate did end up scoring that, and we can see that Syndicate is in 2 points lead and POP not yet scoring anything. So it is very crucial for them to win this game because this is the best of 5. And remember, this is a fearless draft. So this format really tests the champion pool that both the teams have, and I am curious to see who can dig deeper and like which team is more comfortable and can synergize with their teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the stats a bit, like POP only managed 1 kill last game. They're down 14k to the side of Syndicate in terms of gold. 9 towers for Syndicate to the 0 of POP. That just shows you the kind of dominance they put in. And one of the dominating factors for the side of Syndicate has to be this man on your screen, Deadeyes, playing that Xin Zhao. Even in semi-finals, he did an excellent job. Only getting outshone by Haram, because otherwise I'm pretty sure Deadeyes would have got the MVP in that game as well. 505 went completely deathless. an equal amount of kills as assists, CS per minute, damage per minute, doesn't matter, given just amount of ganks he was putting in and amount of pressure that was being applied. It also did help that all his lanes were winning, right? It's always a good thing for a jungler when all lanes are winning and you don't have to worry about that much about getting your losing lanes ahead. You can just focus on the objectives, focus on, these bigger team fights between these guys, and it's always a good sight to see. Like, a lot of people deserve MVPs both games for the side of Syndicate because just how well they're playing as a team.
Absolutely, but let's hope POP does not have their morals down. I hope that they are not yet ready to give up and give it all their best, because after all, this is game 3, best of 5, and I'm curious to see what they're going to ban, and they will not be able to play the same champions again. So we'll be seeing different champions, different combinations, and this is where drafts start to show and cracks to who's more good with their champions, how wide is their champion pool, and the deeper we go in, the more exciting it gets, because last game was absolutely crazy. We saw how the blue team dominated POP. It was absolutely crazy, but let's hope POP will not let that slide and make that comeback, because they need to secure this game. If not, this will be going to Syndicate. They will be securing the position, the last point, and they will be winning the grand finals for Legends Ascent. We do not know yet.
Yeah, and I think POP has to, minimize the damage that is being done in the individual solo lanes, because you can't be getting solo kill top side as well as mid. It just allows the other team to, accelerate a bit. The Shen was dominating the Ornn. The Ornn never got to breathe after the first death as well. So these kind of things pretty much put a big factor into how you want to draft, and you have to think a bit more about what you want to blind pick for yourself, because the Ornn was blind pick, answered by the Shen, and the Shen completely dominated, but the Veigar was the last pick for the side of Poro Patrol, and it did not pay out the way they wanted at all. Kagura completely dominating against that Veigar, but Veigar was the only one who did get a kill, but that was on a stranded Melio running away from Dragon Pit. So that was Syndicate just showing the dominance that this team provides, but Poro Patrol have to go back to the drawing board, think a bit more about how they want to draft. Maybe a bit more of an early and mid-game strength between them does signify, how well they can do between them. But guys, before we head into the draft 3 of game 3, a very short break before we resume all the action.
Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. Right on the way 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 to the top. I'm going in. I'm like I'm gonna win. Flip the lead and I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. Wanna see my ambition. I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. Right on the way 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 to the top. Did it, I did it. I'm going in, got me like on grind. Woo! Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop. Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's up. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot in sync with the boys. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch her, touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this. Winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all they got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 I'm going in. Flip the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Stand at attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not got a cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. Wanna see my ambition. I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 Did it, I did it, I did it. I'm going in. Got me like, on grind. Woo! Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop.
Guys, we are back after that very short interval. We'll be jumping right into the draft soon. But guys, reminder before that, we have the Rift Rivals draft mode available to you guys through the Discord. So make sure to follow our socials in the link in the description box below. And don't miss out on, anything exciting that will come up to you, because this is a mode that I'm very excited about, as well as I'll be the auctioneer for it. So it's something you look forward to. But without any further ado, we're jumping straight into the draft. It's going to be Syndicate yet again on the blue side. And I think because Shakan is now the jungler for Syndicate, it's a bit of a substitution coming out. Deadeye's sitting this one out. Shakan's coming back in. And that's why Shakan, very renowned for playing his Shaco. And that's why you get to see that, unusual Shaco ban on the right side over there, Nico.
Not the J4 ban we've been saying for the last 2 games. Now, these early bans could be targeting comfort picks, and even though those champions haven't been seen yet in this series, I am really interested to see how removing some of these champions can, how the teams are going to synergize and coordinate with the opponent teams and take down the teams. Poro Patrols need to step up their game, because this is going to be the decider game for Syndicate. If they win this, they are winning the grand finals. But Poro Patrols still have a chance, hoping that they are not giving up, hoping their morals are not down, and they are banning that Trundle What do you think? What is going to happen?
It does seem like a bit of a difference. I really want to see what Sheikhan's going to bring out in the jungle for himself with this substitution. Don't know why Syndicate have chosen, but they're going to be locking in the Mumu as the first pick for Harry Joshibai on the jungle role right now from the side of Syndicate. I think honestly, Purple Patrol have to stick to maybe easier comms that can battle out in the earlier mid game, and maybe rethink about how they want to play the bot side, at least for the side of Invoker and what he wants to bring out. The Trundle ban is pretty interesting. I don't think Zuko is going to be playing that anytime soon, given that you have so much open. You have the Renekton open, you have the Gnar open as well, so he has a lot allowed. But Purple Patrol with their first pick gonna be picking up the Sejuani that was getting banned a lot in the second phase of banning.
It is very crucial. This game 3 is crucial for Poro Patrols because it's either you give them the match point and this whole series, or you play the picks, and they are not risking it. They are going for Mordekaiser and Sejuani, taking their strong picks. For what we saw in semifinals, Mordekaiser was Venom played it insanely well in the semifinals, and we are seeing Syndicate picking Israel. What do you think Poro Patrol might pick? Because in game 2 we saw them pick Jinx, and again you mentioned how early game they actually need to do something. If they take scaling champions, it's going to be hard for them to make that comeback. What do you think they might pick?
I really want to see what they're going to pick, but honestly it's about what Syndicate wants to counter this Mord with. It's currently hovering the relay, but no, it's going to be the Jax that gets locked in for Zuko in the top side. So Venom and Zuko are definitely going to duke it out yet again. Bot side, yes, talking about that, the Ezreal, a pretty mobile and very slippery champion, can get out of so many situations that he's put into. So you have to play something maybe with a bit of range, maybe something that you can counter against him, and severe lock-in maybe coming in from the side of Invoker and Purple Patrol, but no, it's going to be the Kog'Maw that gets switched over. We get teased with the Hover of Severe. It's the Kog'Maw lock-in. Kog'Maw has a lot of range, is a hyperscale carry, but yet again more valuable in the late game. You have to provide something for Invoker to reach that part of the game, unlike what happened in game 2 between both of these teams. So that's going to be their first phase of picking done. Now we're going to head into the second phase of banning. Want to see what Poro Patrol want to answer around. It's going to be the mid laner. It's going to be targeted a lot, as well as support bans coming in. I don't think we got to fully see what the ban was for Poro Patrol, but maybe the side of Syndicate want to ban against maybe Enchanters for that Kog'Maw support in the bot lane.
Absolutely. You can feel the tension in this draft room because every ban counts more now than, because the options are running out for both the teams, and they ban Yuumi. Syndicate bans Yuumi for Poro Patrol. It is a bit, we don't know yet. Do you think they might go for Enchanter support, or are they going to pick something tanky for both the team support? Because Poro Patrol banned Leona. It is now the last ban for Syndicate. I am super curious to see what they are going to ban, because back to back I feel like they banned support, targeting supports, and that is very crucial. If your support is not being able to help you throughout the fights, it will cost you the team fights.
Absolutely, and Milio and Lulu are not open for the pairing with the Kog'Maw on the bot side. I would like to maybe see a Karma with the Ezreal on the bot, because the way that Haramil likes to play is a lot of poke, as a lot of domination for himself over there. So with the Karma, that just makes it so much easier for himself. But it's going to be the blind Victor pickup for Terex on Poro Patrol, and now Syndicate get to answer back. They really want to leave the support role open for the counter pick. Not a bad strategy whatsoever for the side of Poro Patrol, but it's now yet to see what Syndicate want to lock in for this. Maybe the Karma comes in. That's not a bad pick at all, in my opinion. But the Bard gets hover. It gets locked in for Abdo. I really want to see how Abdo does on this champion. And I had inklings and rumors through the Spider Web that Abdo really wanted to play Elise support, but unfortunately is not at least getting that in game 3. And looks like they want to counter the Victor with the range that the Xerath does provide, and that's exactly what they're going to do over here. That's Syndicate locking in their complete draft. Let's see what Poro Patrol want to counter with their bot side. It's very limited in terms of supports for what you want to pair up this Kog'Maw with. You already see it's a Bard. He will also be running the Electrocute, putting some damage out. So maybe something of a reprise for the side of Jazz is bot. Poro Patrol running down the timer completely. They're going to be locking in the Morgana for himself. Does provide a bit of appeal for your Kog'Maw. And Anika, which side of the draft will you be preferring?
Well, it is very hard to say because both the teams have some very interesting lineup, and honestly, I think both the teams have good stuff. Like they have Amumu for Syndicate, Amumu Jax, and then the Xerath. If they are being able to zone out Poro Patrol properly, Xerath, if they give Xerath enough space and room, it will be really deadly for Poro Patrol. But then again, we have Mordekaiser on Venom, and then they took their Sejuani. They have Morgana. It's interesting, and it's very unpredictable at this point. And I feel like Poro Patrol is giving it their all to make that comeback happen, not giving up yet, hoping they can secure this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Syndicate more balanced in terms of AD and AP, while usually in Poro Patrol they have the Victor, you have a Morgana, you have a Mordekaiser as well. So, and Kog'Maw goes Ginsu's as well, so a bit more hybrid on his side, at least midway through the game. So a lot of AP coming out from the side of Poro Patrol, but Syndicate seemed very balanced, seemed very into place. Really want to see how everybody Shagan does on the Amumu. That's what they initially locked in for themselves. I think there might be a bit of a role swap coming in, because I think Kagura will be going topside while Zuko goes mid, because that's how the champions have been selected. I don't think Zuko wants to be playing the Xerath mid, but let's Xerath top, and let's see how they want to balance it out between them, because I really don't want to see Jax in the mid lane given the amount of split pushing he can do, the amount of dominance that he does assert between them. Harambe will be looking to maybe get an edge early on, because Kog'Maw a bit weaker compared to the range before
In
level
the early
6
game,
of
yeah.
the Ezreal. Yeah, so, and I think Jazz is will try to do as much as he can with the Black Shields for the Kog'Maw, maybe even Mikhail's as well. But honestly, favoring a bit more on the side of Syndicate, just because they're more a well-balanced Kog'Maw and well-rounded out overall. But that's just how it's just looking right now. Venom, like you said, semifinals, had a fantastic performance on this Mordekaiser champion as well. So maybe we get to see him have a bit more of a headway in the top side fight, because he has been getting dominated quite a bit in the first 2 games.
Absolutely. I am curious to see what this Bard is going to be up to, because I feel like when you are playing Bard, it's the type of support that is roaming around and helping out mid. So I think we'll be seeing more of the support roaming around from Team Syndicate and being there for the team when the objectives are up, like void crabs and all. The ult from Bard is going to be very interesting, and how they're going to utilize it. Are they going to play it defensively, or are they going to play it aggressively to make sure that they can secure the fights and all? So, Atakan, again, I feel like it's gonna be top. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think definitely how these laners are going the top side, it's going to be Zuko's trying to just assert dominance over there. And I think it's how it's going to go. Bot side, maybe a bit more on the slower side. Poke's going to be coming out, but I don't think it's going to be enough hitting compared to what the top side's going to look like. Kagura, I really want to see what he does in the mid lane, because last time as well, he was putting it, he got his own solo kill as well. He's those kind of laners that really just want to win the game based off his own lane and get ahead that way, instead of maybe going for roams instead. But he had a lot of good heroes entrances in the previous fights, and he was a very crucial factor coming in. And now Deadice switched out for Shakan, so I really want to see how the substitute player for the side of Syndicate will be doing on the crying mummy, because Shegan is a good player, has good sense of the game, good macro as well. So I really want to see how he does. He's actually the official captain of the team, so maybe he does a bit of the shot calling as well. So maybe it just changes a bit of how communications go down between these games. And Poro Patrol backs against the wall. They are 0-2 down in this best of 5 series. So they are the ones that have everything to lose right now, and they're the ones that have to come out on top. So I really want to see how the Kog'Maw fares in the bot side, because I don't think I've seen the bot lane of basically Invoker playing the Kog'Maw in this tournament so far. So let's see if he's used to it, because he is choosing a champion again that is hyper scaling like the Jinx. But it's about if his team allows him to reach that point of the game.
Absolutely. I feel like last game, his team was not really able to back him up. Both the jungler and the ADC did not get the proper support from his teammates. So hoping this time they will be able to not make those same mistakes, not repeat those same mistakes. But this game, I feel like this, just like the last game, just like game 2, it's going to be hectic. It's going to be chaotic, absolutely chaotic. I feel like there will be no chill whatsoever, but hoping Venom will be able to make that payback, because he was bullied last game under his tower again and again, almost like 5 times. He was just killed under his tower. Hoping with his Mordekaiser, just like we saw in the semifinals games, he dominated the game with Mordekaiser. So this game, I'm hoping to see more of that even matchup in the top lane, instead of him being pushed back to the tower and being tower dived. And for like last game, they had a lot of global ults. This game, it is very different. The comps are very different. I'm curious to see how they are going to do it, which lane is going to be ganked more and everything. And we saw 2 Hextech drives, so it also depends on what dragons are going to be coming, what souls they're going to be getting, who is going to be securing the objectives soon, and all of these factors are going to add up and going to show who's going to do what. Poro Patrol, they need to be very careful. They need to play this very calmly. I feel like last few games they were being very impatient a bit. They were trying to be desperate, trying to secure those objectives, but it actually backfired on them. So it is very important for them to make sure that they're at the right place at the right time. And the ADC and the jungler needs to make sure that the whole team is with them, backing them up.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to get a bit on the same page, like you're saying over there, that they have to, utilize certain fights in certain accordance of how they want to proceed moving forward, and maybe focus a bit more on objective fights as well, and maybe be careful of when the opponent teams want to maybe go for the fight just before objective. Don't lose too many members before that, so that the opponent team, basically Syndicate, gets the advantage going into the pick, because last game was a complete wipeout in terms of jungle objectives for the side of Syndicate, and Poro Patrol cannot let Syndicate get to a point where Poro Patrol are being forced to sacrifice essentially jungle objective just to stay alive, because the vision was not being provided, the area was not being taken, the space was not being taken, and it was very detrimental to them. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be heading into Game 3 of this Best of 5 series, or the finals of Quarterfinal 3. It's between Syndicate and Poro Patrol. Syndicate up 2-0 in the series, and are 5-manning going up topside right now.
Do you think they will try to maybe... They are like focusing... I feel like they're focusing on Mord again, hoping to get him again. It is up to Poro Patrol now not to like get demotivated, and look at them. Look at Mord.
Oh no, Mord gets caught out. Flashes of the wall.
No.
2 flashes being burned and an ignite as well. That's going to be Mord going down. The level 1 strategy of Syndicate coming into perfection. It's the flash of Abdul being burnt plus his ignite, as well as Zuko has lost his flash as well. And as I talked about, it's going to be a bit of a lane swap. Zuko, who is playing the top lane for the side of Syndicate, now instead will be moving into the mid lane side, and now it's going to be allowed Kagura, Jax, Buzz Lightyear to go to the top side instead. And Mord, already on a very tricky start over here, is down 0-1. Unfortunately, is flashless against Kagura, who's running the Ignite, so this can also be a bit detrimental. It already looks like the bullying of Venom has started very early on in the game.
I was about to say that they just do not want to let Venom do whatever he wants, and they are bullying him. Once again, Jax pushing him back, denying him from his farms.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps the spacing nicely there. Has started level 1, I'm pretty sure as well. So he's going to be pushing Venom. Venom has to be very careful of this. He doesn't want to get to a position that he can't even match the waves later on. So he has to be keeping his distance. Bot side, you can see Shakan clears his Krugs, is heading up. Here's the level 2 hit by Kagura. It does, evolve, put a point into the Q, instead. Goes inside with the counter strike, gets some damage done. He is very interested in running the lethal tempo instead of the grasp, so look for more extended fights coming from his side and him getting stronger and stronger as the fights continue. Mort does have Conqueror, so maybe tries to match it that way, but yes, not working out. On the bot side, at least this time, Poro will be giving over to the side of Poro Patrol. They are going to get the wave pushed in, hits the level 2 before the side of Harambe and Abdo, and now it seems a bit there. But in the meantime, the mid lane, Terex is still getting bullied compared to the last 2 games as well. Now this time by Zuko instead of Kagura.
Absolutely. I feel like throughout all 3 games I've seen Poro Patrol's ADC constantly keeping up with the farm. Even if they're like pushed back into their lane, he somehow is in the farm lead or is equal to the opponent's ADC. But look at Xerath, look at Victor. Victor is already like behind his farm, and top lane they're also equal at the moment.
Yeah, but look at Harambe. He gets exhausted, instantly has to cleanse the binding. That Invoker had flashed forward after Harambe flashes away. So a lot of summoners being exchanged. Only Apto not burning anything essentially over there. And now Harambe has to play a bit on the back foot. Invoker doesn't have a flash, so Harambe can play with that amount of spacing in mind. Top side, Kagura goes in for it. Is 1 level down onto Venom, but that doesn't stop this man from having away. The flash bandages toss coming in from Sheik and lands very cleanly onto the Mordekaiser. That's gonna be Mordekaiser dying for, unfortunately, the 2nd time this game, and Kagura picking up his first kill.
Back again to bullying Venom in top lane. But I feel like POP's bot lane is actually confident and they're playing it really nicely, but let us not jinx it, because I feel like last time we jinxed Jinx.
Yeah, absolutely, complete good point. Invoker, the lane's a bit frozen against him. It's a good spot for the side of the Ezreal and the Bard. Derex has to maybe avoid some of this damage that Crown's putting up, maybe dodge or juke a couple of the Qs being put, because Crown's taking commanding lead in terms of CS. Venom is being pushed away from his lane. So yet again, you can see the solo lanes, the side of Syndicates, where the prowess is being shown in the early part. Shaken is close by. He has the bandage toss ready in his arsenal. It does land. I'm pretty sure a flash from Derex will come up, but it's a bit too late. He's already taken so much damage. He should have maybe tried to flash the first bandage toss being put out by the Mumu, and then maybe he ends up surviving. But Buzzlighter, clean sidestep on the stage 1 ability, gets away without burning anything. And Poro Patrol, 5 minutes in, 3 kills down, already not looking good for their side.
Poro Patrol needs to step up their game. I think their Victor is Victor is DC, I guess. He left the game. They need to step up their game, because if this keeps on going, the Syndicate is going to scale, and it will be again hard for Poro Patrol to make that comeback. They are now racing against time about who can reach level 6 first, who can secure the objectives first, and it is really not looking that great for Poro Patrol. And again, top lane, they are just denying that one person who has the potential to take down their whole team, which is Mordekaiser. They are bullying Mordekaiser again.
Yeah, they equivalent bullying. Even that level 1, you get the flash out of him. He can't even flash when he sees the move flash into him. So Venom, very early on, is getting is already getting suppressed quite a bit, and it's a bit of a trouble for him. It's already started a bit towards that side. Buzz Lightyear especially is roaming with the ignite in his arsenal, so he's definitely looking to dominate this lane to make sure that Mordekaiser is not much of a problem later on, so that you can't actually do anything against your team. But yes, it is looking a bit dire for Poro Patrol. They've already given over the feats of warfare. They are currently completely on the back foot, and I really hope that they can pull up something. Otherwise, it's just going to be the side of Syndicate taking a complete clean 3-0 against them in this finals.
Absolutely. And it is interesting to see how they're actually doing it, but Poro Patrol is not being able to keep up, but hoping that they are not giving up yet, they will be able to do it. So we'll be taking a short break. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Alright, yeah. 1, 2, 3, mic check, what's up? 2, 3 on my back, it's tug. Light years ahead, just call me Buzz. Hitting a shot and sink with the buzz. I feel like Joel Embiid, the process, yeah, I trust. Accolades got them swallowing the words, cause I know that they doubted us. Touch, can't touch this. I know they throwing that dirt on my name. When I check on my tag, it be spotless. Look in the mirror and snap my fingers and point like you know you got this.
Guys, we are back. Unfortunately, it did seem that the Victor did DC a bit, so it took a bit of time for that. But already, Poro Patrol looked like they're struggling a bit, especially Venom in the top side already died twice within 5 minutes. It's a bit of a tougher battle for him. He has to be a bit better about how he wants to face out against this Jax, because Kagura has brought that ignite, and that does a lot. That provides a lot of pressure onto the Mordekaiser, because he has to be playing a bit on the safer foot, because he has the teleport for later on if he wants to get to fights, whereas Kagura doesn't. And Kagura has to be the one that is going to be doing the split pushing, and the guy who has to be the one trying to maybe divert attention from him, because he can't, instantly TP into fights like Mord will. And that's kind of the plan of Syndicate coming in, because they've neutralized a lot of the effects that Mord has early on.
Absolutely, and just like last game, I feel like this game is going to be getting very chaotic very soon, because it's probably not even 5 minutes yet, and we are already seeing fights in every lane, and especially bot lane, we are seeing how they're poking one another one after another. So now it really plays out. It really plays out on how the junglers are going to secure the objectives, because Sejuani needs to step up the game and try to secure the objectives, whereas we're seeing Amumu being more active throughout the map, ganking the teams and trying to give his teammates a lead so that they can do something.
And we see Darius is back in the game, walking up, but he is quite a bit behind his CS, especially kind of the late phase. If Xerath comes forward, gets a nice Q in, the wave gets pushed on the turret, he misses a bit of XP, but unfortunately, Darius does make it in time. You can see in the top side, Venom cancels out the recall that was in channel by this Jax. He's just standing there very menacingly looking. He has no fear whatsoever. This man with the lamppost, God Staff Jax. But here comes the Xerath all from mid side. He's trying to put some damage onto Venom, but look who's close by. It's the Sejuani. Venom is level 6. The slow comes in. Here comes the stun. An instantly flash match by the Jax to get away after trying to ward jump towards the ward just recently placed. But all this pressure, what does this allow? It allows Syndicate to be good with their macro, take their first drink for themselves.
Absolutely. They just saw Sejuani top, and Amumu's like, no, we have to start the dragon right now and secure it, and the first dragon will be going to them. This is like feats of strength. They already have the warfare. They got the 3 kills, Syndicate. They are going to secure the first epic monster as well. So these are things they're taking advantage of, and POP is actually falling behind. And I think that technical difficulty is actually making their morals a bit down, but hoping that they will not give up. They will be able to do that comeback. They need to set up their game. And as we see bot lane, the fight starts and Kog'Maw securing that kill on Ezreal.
There's a very crucial binding coming in for the Morgana, and lands completely. Haram is just not respecting the amount of damage that the bot lane of Poro Portal can give out, unless they're going to be their first kill of this game. At least they mark themselves on the game. They have taken that, and very crucially, it goes in the pockets of the Kog'Maw. That's the guy you want the goal to be funneled onto, essentially, given that he's going to be hyper carrying you later on in the game. He's already completed his Berserker Greaves, so he has the added attack speed. Only 36 stacks in the tier for the Ezreal. The Xerath in the mid lane still causing a lot of problems for this Victor.
And Kog'Maw and Morgana have they recalled they're gonna have a good reset. They're gonna come back to lane, but we see Xerath. Xerath is very annoying to play against. Constant pokes, and the range Xerath has is just absolutely annoying. And look here, top side.
Oh my god,
to be a party
Jax is
going on.
about to get caught out. He's gonna counter strike in, gets the stun, lands onto the Mordekaiser, but here comes the Amumu as well. Venom's going very low. The ultimate from the Sejuani completely whiffs, goes to the other side of the wall, and that's gonna basically mean her own death. A nice bonk
Double
coming in
kill.
from the lamppost of the Jax. A double kill coming in for Kagura, and Shagan just clearing away the big ward. So what looked like a disastrous start for the side of Poro Patrol, with them maybe getting some reprise from the side of Kog'Maw, getting his own kill in the bot side, quickly turns again a bit more chaotic and a bit on the worst side for them.
Absolutely, and now Amumu has full access to the Void Grubs. He can easily, peacefully take the Void Grubs without any worries about POP's jungler showing up. And Xerath completely bullying Victor under his tower.
Yeah, and you can take a look a bit again at this replay over here. Kagura gets pulled back in, but it's when he's counter-striking, he gets the stun as well. Xerath providing the distance damage with his R. That complete whiff of the Sejuani ultimate does pay a lot of the faults for Sejuani not being able to get out of this fight. She does flash over, but the reins on the Jax with the W is enough to get the kill at the end of the day. And as you can see, Venom yet again struggling in another game. He's already 0-3 down by the 10-minute mark. It's not looking that much better for him. The Jax already has a Sheen, already has attack speed, already has a Ruby Crystal as well, has the boots in his arsenal for the move speed, but at least the Mord has boots to maybe match the pace the Jax will be trying to be dishing out at him. But mid lane, Terex, the range that the Xerath being putting on to him, Terex can honestly not manage it right now.
Absolutely, and I feel like they're back to bullying Mord, which is why he looks like he's a bit frustrated, and Xerath with his ult almost landing it on Victor, but Victor just survives. Bot lane, it's poke versus poke at this point, but it is looking a bit bright for POP. Probably their only lane that's performing well compared to the other two lanes, and hoping that they will be able to do something. But in mid, we see Bard trying to use his ult, trying to trap the Sejuani, but does not connect.
It doesn't connect at all over there, but I still think Syndicate doing a fine job so far in this game. They are trying to punish POP any avenues that they can find out, but when you're POP, you have a comp like a Victor and a Kog'Maw, you have to just hope to get to the scaling point where you're just not too far behind. The Kog'Maw still doing a fine job in the bot side with the Morgan, especially after that kill that he picked up. He's pretty equal in terms of CS as well. He's gonna miss a bit of this wave that's coming in turn, so he's gonna miss a bit of XP. That's why you can see Harambe is already hit that level late. But Venom, you have to be careful if you want this pink ward. Instead, it's gonna be Kagura gonna be picking up the ward over there. Venom maybe wants to come in, at least clear down for a later gank from the Sejuani. Venom's going in deadly over here. Sejuani is close by, does have the ultimate. Does she pop it? Does she hit it this time? And she does hit it on the mark. It's gonna be the Jax trying to get it, and he does with that final auto get the kill on the Mordekaiser. It's in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Buzz Lightyear will definitely take that 1-for-1 any day.
Absolutely. Jax is like, if I am going down, I am taking down with you. And just like that, they know Sejuani was top, and now they started their dragon. This is going to be their second dragon. Securing this dragon is... Look at the gold lead. Look at the gold lead Syndicate has. POP is going to have a hard time recovering from this.
Yeah, absolutely. A 2.34k. The Bard whiffs again, but the flash over by the Mumu locks in the Morgana point. She does have the armor guards with her ultimate. She does flash away. She has good distance, but the follow-up from Harambe is enough. There goes down the Kongor. There goes down the Morgana. Sejuani, you're a bit too late to this party that you weren't invited to, and you have to leave away. You're rejected at the door. It's going to be 2 more kills picked up from the side of Syndicate, and yet again, the gap between them becoming a bit more of a canyon right now.
Absolutely. Like the last fight, as I was saying, POP, again, probably Caster's curse. The POP's bot lane was the only lane that was doing better, and I think they're like, no, we have to shut that down, and they immediately gangs bot lane. And last fight, what I found amazing was Morgana did land her Q on Israel, but he immediately, like instantly, he uses his cleanse and gets out of it, which was really good. And Victor is just down. Xerath is bullying Victor in his lane.
And this is where Kagura comes up with his own solo blow over here. Yeah, he's 3-0 and 2. He has a 400 gold bounty on his head. Derek's, unfortunately, he's not had much of a series so far. So has Venom. Both the solo leaders suffering quite a bit by the aggression put out by Kagura and Zuko respectively, even after switching lanes for this game.
Absolutely. Maybe later on in team fights, maybe Mordekaiser's ult might play a crucial role if he is able to maybe scale up, complete few of his items and all. But like, it's fun to see the 2 top laners bonking one another, and then we have the 2 bot laners poking one another, and mid is just fight between ranges, and Xerath is completely dominating it. Like, look at this.
Yeah, it's because Xerath has
the
CS leave is so much, and he's getting solo kills as well. And I think we didn't have a doubt when we were talking about it earlier. The Atakan will be spawning in the top side of the map. The bindings of Morgana are coming through, but barely hitting out the way that she wants. A nice W from the Ezreal, followed out by the Q. Gets the damage onto Invoker. Invoker has to keep a safe distance. Here comes the ultimate as well, the Arcane Comet. It's just not enough. Oh, nice EQ from the Ezreal. Harambe really testing out the limits of his champion completely to complete fruition, and the domination already coming in. We thought maybe the bot side of POP was, matching up, but after that gank, they are not in the position right now.
Absolutely. And look at Team Syndicate. Like, Xerath has amazing map awareness about what his teammates are doing, what they're up to, and that ult is securing again 0-5 on Mord, 5 kills on Jax, and they know Sejuani is nowhere near them. Amumu securing that Rift Herald. So it's just unfortunate for POP at this point, because they will be.
Yeah, it does seem bad for them.
Is going to be securing the first tower as well.
Yeah, and look at this, Jax playing very beautifully, letting the minions die as well. So probably a lot of XP. But bot side, they want to use a gang, especially after Harambe's used his arcane shift for the Q does not land. Here comes the Sejuani. The damage is pretty much there. The Bard is ulting this side. Maybe he thought Harambe could get away to the Bard. He lives, but unfortunately, a good engaged bot side over there from Sejuani, Morg, and Invoker. They did a fantastic job. Locked down the kill onto Harambe. He's not getting to accelerate to the point that he wants. Derex, you have to be very careful. You're very low. Here comes the stun. It lands from the Zerath. Last Q hits onto him. Derex, as a final stance, chucks out the ultimate. It just can't do enough. He's down 0-3-0 for the game. And that's Zuko going up 4-0-3 after the lane swap.
Oh my god. Once again, we are getting a game which is chaotic constantly. Something is going on, so active, and Sarah completely dominating over Victor. And I feel like Victor is, Terex is kind of feeling the pressure, especially because of the technical difficulties he has faced. And we are seeing that both the teams are now roaming around the dragon, because the dragon is going to be up soon and it is going to be an ocean soul. Syndicate already has 2 dragons. It is now up to POP, because it is very important for them to secure this dragon, and they are trying to take up visions as much as possible, but it feels like they're being sandwiched and Victor is being bullied in his lane.
And that's exactly what happens as we were talking about it. Victor dying yet again underneath the turret. That's also a good setup from the Amumu as well. Counter strikes on, counter strikes, leap strikes forward onto the Amumu, gets a distance forward. He's looking, the Herald has been spawned mid-side. That's going to be the tier 1 going down over there. All tier 1s have pretty much fallen for the side of POP, except the bot lane, and that's also in a very dire state. They have to come mid lane to maybe protect the tier 2 over here, and Shekan's already started up the Drake. POP can't match it whatsoever, and yet again they're being shut down completely in terms of jungle objectives.
Absolutely. They released the Rift Herald at such a crucial point where they have to hold mid, or else they're gonna lose more towers. And if they hold mid, they will be losing the dragon, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, but the fight's breaking down over here. Sejuani is getting caught out quite a bit, but Crown is the one drawing away. Venom is taking him all the way to Brazil. Crown pretty much ends up dying once he gets out of the realm as well. Additional damage. Shutdown very crucially going over to Venom. That was a huge shutdown that was on the hands of Zuko right there. So pretty well played. But look at who's here. Plus Tiger just comes in forward, bonks them at the head of the banana, flashes forward with the counter strike, gets a nice stun onto the Victor. That's a triple kill. That's a quad kill. This could be the Penta coming in from us. That's exactly what I want to give away.
Oh my god.
For Kagura after the role swap in game 3, and this Jax is in full domination right here. POP completely on the back foot. They're doing a better job than last game, more than 1 kill this time, but it still seems like it's completely going all Syndicate's way.
It was crazy. Jax securing that pentakill. POP is not being able to do anything. They are being punished for every mistake they are doing. Jax is now in lead, like he has 11 kills and 1 dead only, whereas Mordekaiser is not really doing that much for the teams. And I don't know, they are completely being dominated. POP is being dominated, and it is going to be very hard for them to recover from this. They are losing objectives and they're losing the fights, giving Syndicate the huge gold lead right now. Like, look, 38 and 29. It is insanely a big gold lead that Syndicate has.
Yeah, they're around 8.5k for themselves right now. They're doing a fantastic job. Kagura has been very dominant. Ori has a wits end as well, especially against the tenacity, against magic resist. Syndicate, continuing the dominance of jungle objectives, will be taking down the Artakan without any consequence whatsoever. POP cannot even come close to this. They're falling quite behind. Terex himself is 0-5-0. The Mordekaiser Venom is 1-6-1. And it is not looking good whatsoever. Syndicate is on Ocean Soul Point as well. they pretty much want to lock this in, maybe the Baron, and maybe go for the end, given how far behind POP is. Only the Kog'Maw has a positive KD right now, and even he will not be able to do much in fights if he is not provided the amount of peel that he is required as a hyper carry.
Absolutely. It is very unfortunate for POP at this point, to be honest, because I feel like Mord, I personally feel bad for him for he's like being bullied in his lane. Same for Victor. And now we're seeing like in top lane they are trying to maybe force a fight. Maybe if they're looking for mistakes, both the teams are looking to see if each of the teams are going to make the mistakes and they want to punish them. But so far, nothing going on. People from POP are going to recall and reset. Look at the items. Xerath already down to like 2 items, trying to make his 3rd items, and like the gold, they have bounties on Amumu, on Jax, on Bard. It is going to be very hard for POP to take down Jax himself because he's getting the proper support from his team.
He's pretty much a raid boss at this point, the way he's fed right now. Has the upgraded Merc Treads as well, tier 3 on that, has the Infinity Edge. The Bard ultimate barely missing out on Sejuani, nice walk away. Even the bandage shot for Vishakan going a bit wide. But yeah, this is POP pretty much in very scared territory. They can't even walk up into their own jungle. Your Sejuani can't farm up. You can see the Mord just trying to get as much farm as he can in the top side, but this is all very dire. Soul Drake for the side of Syndicate's about to spawn as well. So these kind of fights have to go down. In the next 30 seconds, POP either has to decide on what they want to do. They want to give up Soul Drake or they want to fight for it. But even if you are POP, it is so hard to fight for that Soul Drake right now.
Absolutely, because this is probably going to be like the deciding fight of if the game's going to end right now or not. They look at the wards placement for Syndicate. They have deep wards inside POP's jungle, and they will exactly know who is where and when they need to be there. They have full map control over the dragon side, and they are not going to let POP take any objectives in this game. They want to secure all the objectives, all for themselves, not giving up any of them, not giving POP a chance to recover from the gold lead that they're behind.
Yeah, that's going to be Soul Drake being taken over for the side of Syndicate. Now Ocean Soul in their back pocket. They're even stronger than they were before. POP completely on the back foot, back end. They don't know exactly what to do. They're a bit scattered minded about where to position on the map. So many turrets are gone right now for the side of them. They've lost basically everything in the bot side, in the mid, even in the top. The tier 2 is standing still in the top and bot, and that's exactly what POP want to protect right now. But Baron spawning in around 30 seconds time is what Syndicates have their mind on. They haven't broken an inhibitor yet, so not much CS also coming to the side of POP, so they have to keep in mind how they want to play. Kog'Maw finished the Borg Blade of Ruin King, Ginsu's Rage Blade, but the Ezreal is pretty strong as well. Has the Muramana, has the Trinity Force, has the Iron Boots, still tier 2. Albeit upgrade, can upgrade to tier 3 whenever he does feel like. Only the guy who has upgraded his boost to tier 3 will be that big man Jax in the top side. He's already 2 levels up on Venom, and Venom, I honestly have to feed for this man amount of bullying that has been provided to him.
Oh my god, it is. They cannot even contest this because they POP just knows at this point that they cannot win the team fight. They have to, like, at this point, they have to stall and scale. And Victor, he is very behind, but Kog'Maw still has the potential to scale and maybe do serious damage in the team fight if his team is able to heal for him. But we are seeing a fight initiating in mid right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a double kill for the side of the Ezreal. That's going to be Sejuani going down as well. A triple kill coming over for Harambe. He's looking for more right now, but I don't think Venom's going to be getting caught out quite a bit yet. this seems to be closer to the end of this game. POP are just waiting, just baiting out time. Baron's down, Baron power, minions coming in. They're all 5-manning onto this side. A nice Bard all comes onto the turret. Now the side of POP have to back away from it. You can't fight much as well. A flash counter strike from the side of Kagura might just lock in this kill, and that's exactly what he is. Kagura, this man is legendary right now against Venom. You can't even run underneath your turret. He has to flash away. Maybe that just saves him. The Ignite's taking away, and that's what secures the kill. A double kill yet again for the big bad man with the lamppost in the top side. Invoker trying to do his best. Morgana, last ditch effort, flash forward after the R. Tries to get maybe a couple more stuns in, but instead she's just shrunk down to 1% of her HP bar at that point. Has to back away. Invoker not fed enough, can't do enough damage, and what do you do against the Jax that's fed this much? You do exactly that, you end up dying to him. That's going to be Syndicate pretty much taking this game 3 over this best of 5 series. They've won all 3 games, a clean sweep from them against the Poro Patrol, and Syndicate are going to be very pleased with their performance today.
Oh my god, that's a clean 3-0 drop for Team Syndicate and a total dominance from start to finish. Congratulations, Team Syndicate, for securing this 3rd game and the grand finals. What a crazy grand finals this game was. They did not drop a single game. They showed exactly why, like incredible synergy, clean executions during the team fights, and total control over the whole map, securing every objectives, not giving POP any chance to like win any of the lanes at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Pretty much the outcome of this setup coming in. I maybe thought maybe it takes 1 more game or 2 more games, but Syndicate, gas to the pedal, did not let up whatsoever, allowed themselves to pretty much cruise over here. They had a role swap in game 2, they had a in game 3, and a substitution coming in for Deadeyes as Shekan over there, but Shekan did a fantastic job on the Mumu earlier on. Amazing bandage tosses, a good game plan level 1 where they punish Venom, and just all in all, pretty much a masterclass being put in from the side of Syndicate, and the way they played these matchups were just excellent. The solo laners of Poro Patrol maybe have to think about how they want to play lanes, especially against maybe tougher matchups, because they are not out, right? They have qualified for Legends and Salvation, and they probably will be facing against Syndicate in the future. So they have to think about all these things when they want to, think about the bigger picture. But this is the stats for you guys. That's going to be Syndicate taking 3-0. But in this game just itself, Syndicate 25 kills to the 5 of Poro Patrol. 14k gold difference in their favor, 7 towers to none. That 0 turrets on the side of Poro Patrol just tells you pretty much how you thought this game has gone. All 4 Drakes go inside of Syndicate. What am I saying, Drakes? Every single jungle objective going to the side of Syndicate. 1 Rift Trail, 1 Baron, 3 Grubs, the Atakan as well. And pretty much a pretty dominant performance. A very small or short game from their side with 27 kills. But this man, Kagura over here, talk a bit about him. He's your MVP.
He was just crazy. He did not care about anything, even if his team was behind him or not. He just went all in. Tower, he does not care. He will dive under the tower and he will kill you. And like, props to him. He knows exactly who to target throughout this whole team fight, especially like the last team fight. He did not care if Mord was nearby him. He first killed Victor and then he went on to Mord, bringing him down. It was crazy. All 3 games was crazy. It was chaotic and a flawless performance by Team Syndicate. Very nice try by Poro Patrol, but congratulations, Team Syndicate, for securing not 1, not 2, but all 3 games throughout this whole series.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a wrap on the files over here, guys. If you are waiting to see who wins third and fourth place between the remaining teams right now. Please head over to the Discord server later on. We will be streaming the matches over there, so you don't want to miss out on the action, because that is going to be your last team that qualifies for Legends Ascent, pretty much the biggest tournament South Asia has seen, the 10 lakh prize pool, as well as that very crucial spot as the LACP wildcard playoffs. So these are the factors coming in. Syndicate, very dominant performance. Congratulations once again to this team, because honestly, how you do your role swaps, your substitutes doesn't make a difference. Once your macro is completely on the lockdown, you know which lanes you want to get ahead, and that's exactly what they did for themselves. And just huge props up to them. Really hoping to see these kind of dominant performances from them in the Legends Ascent tournament, and hopefully we get to see maybe a more competitive scene, because nowadays we are seeing teams matching up against the top teams, right? And it is bringing the scene to a more balanced state where any team can be the ones who win. But at least that's all from me today, as well as Nico. It's me, Mandis, alongside Nico, and we will hope to see you guys in the next tournament. It's going to be the crucial Legends Ascent South Asia, the actual tournament.
man, winning man, winning man, winning man, winning man. Who gon' stop this? No one. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. On grind. I'm going in. On grind. Right on the way to the top. 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 On grind. I'm going in. I'm like, on grind. I'm gonna win. Flip the letter I stick it. I came from the bottom to the top, but I'm not finished. I just needed me a minute. Standing attention, lieutenant. I gotta get up and get it. All I'm focused on is winning. He not gonna cheat code. We win until the clock gon' hit Z. Whoa, I'm fighting my way back like I was Nemo. Do it, I am a dynamic dude. Whoa, win, 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 and win. That's right, my nickname is winning. Gotta walk in the building, gotta inspire the children. Wanna see my ambition. I'm not a regular civilian. Give it all I got. I'm going to the top. On grind. I'm going in. Right on the way to the top. 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 Did it, I did it, I did it. On grind. I'm going in. Got me like, what? On grind. Woo! Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gon' drop.